remembering. Thank you, Stacy. Our town meeting creed, we are all in this together. We will treat one another with respect and dignity. We will allow differences of opinion and consider opposing viewpoints with an open mind. We will not raise our voices or speak abusively to or about one another. We will be silent while another is speaking. We will be mindful of others and stop what we're doing when asked to do so. We will silence our cell phones and be attentive. We will consider the good of all in everything we will do, and we will be kind to one another.
Sorry.
I said we gotta be nice.
You just said I gotta be nice to him, like I'm always nice.
Is it? Not sending me here. Two-factor?
Phone is not getting any service, so I can't do.
Send Wi-Fi.
Yeah, she's getting me the Wi-Fi password, so once I get on that, I should be able to log right in,
Okay.
but sorry about that, everyone. Little technical difficulty.
You want to sort of introduce yourselves as,
Sure.
as, that is,
Yeah. So I know some of you, but not a lot of you. I'm Jesse Novak and I work for Great West Engineering. And this is Craig Erickson, also with Great West Engineering. I'm the engineer who's been looking into your water system for most of the last year, and I want to present my findings to you and let you know what's going on, and basically also why we're doing the preliminary engineering report, and we'll give you some plans to move forward.
Yeah, I got it, but I mean, his.
I've got a service, of course I do.
Thanks, man.
you've been logged in on this before, so it's precious. Root to this to real most for me to connect.
There we go.
Okay.
Alright. Should be playing the thing from Jeopardy.
Gun here.
I think that was just going through my head.
Did you send me the Zoom meeting invitation?
It's just at the top of the.
The agenda.
Perfect.
Got me turn that thing off.
Hi, Rebecca.
Bring any cards? Quick game of peanuts.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good sign. Oh, not when we did this with butchers and vendors.
Are you in, Jesse?
So I'm trying to share my
Okay.
post disabled attendee screen sharing.
Stacy, can you enable him to share?
Make him presenter.
I think she said, go ahead. We can't hear you, Stace.
Jesse is host now.
Perfect.
Yeah, ta-da.
You'll have to give it back to me when you're done, Jesse.
Alright, will do, Stacy. Alright, been running now. So, this is water system improvements preliminary engineering report public meeting. And I introduced myself a bit ago, but I'm Jesse Novak, engineer who's been looking into your water system. So, we're here, the town identified some water system needs. And so we contracted with them to produce what we call a preliminary engineering report. And preliminary engineering reports are used for a lot of reasons, but you can treat it as basically a 20-year planning document for where you came from, how you're doing today, and where you can go in the future to protect your water supply. And one of the great things about PERs, as I call them, is they unlock funding mechanisms from state and federal avenues. And so once this gets approved, you can use the findings in this and the projects that are proposed and get grant funding or low interest loans to help you pay for any improvements that might need to be made to the system. As part of the PER, we also need to do an environmental assessment. So I'll get to that later, but that basically includes sending a bunch of letters to, I think there's probably 20 or so entities around the state and see if any of these projects might affect them. And then we are at the public comment part. So part of this meeting is I'll go over what I find and we've talked with Sydney and the rest of the town about what you guys might need moving forward, but this is ultimately your town, and if you have ideas, all ears on how we might be able to improve it or where you guys might be lacking that you haven't identified. So most of what I just went over, so I'm gonna skip over this slide. So Clyde Park, the planning area, today we have 351 people in city limits. That's who we are serving. As part of the 20-year planning document, you gotta anticipate what we call reasonable growth, and that's 1% annual growth. Standard throughout the state. And if that holds true, we need to make sure that your water system is capable of serving 428 people by the year 2045. So just because it works today doesn't mean it'll work in 20 years. If a few more people move to town, or if they don't, at least you're protected and we'll still be able to serve 351 people just fine. Map of the area, you guys are probably well aware of what it looks like, but city limits, wanted to highlight the main infrastructure that you have with your water system, which is the well house, just over there a little ways, storage reservoir, and then up there we have the Terry and O'Leary Springs with the spring boxes, which serves as the primary water source for the community. So I'll start by talking about your water supply. I find your water supply very interesting and I love it because it's unique in the way that it is a gravity fed natural spring source, which is pretty unique to the communities in Montana. It comes from higher elevation, collects in a series of 5 spring boxes over and through piping, and it'll go from there through a transmission main, and that goes up to the storage reservoir on the hill, and that basically serves the entire town. Historic flows up there have been as high as 200 gallons per minute. From what I've seen through what we call a SCADA system, which is basically real-time data that you get from the storage tank reservoir, I've seen between 100 and 140 gallons per minute consistently comes from that spring source. In addition to that, and with any community in Montana, you need a secondary source to meet DEQ standards. And that's satisfied by wells 1 and 2 here in town. Well 1 has capability of 60 gallons per minute, and well 2 has capability of 55 gallons per minute. It's not supposed to be there, but it does meet the DEQ requirements as a redundant source. And the requirement there is that your max day demand with your largest source out of commission can be met with your secondary source. So you guys have the capability of pumping 115 gallons per minute, and that will satisfy your maximum day demand. So that does work. Water use data, this is where it starts to get pretty interesting because there's been some recent developments around town. Average day, what comes into the town is about 91.9 gallons per minute, or a little north of 132,000 gallons per day. And that's average day over the entire year of 2024, January to December. 132,000 gallons come from a combination of the spring source and the wells and flows into town. That comes to a number of 377 gallons per capita per day. So each person in the town uses about 377 gallons per capita per gallons per day, which is, I'd say, abnormally high. And I'll get to that here in a little bit because the metered use and what gets billed to the city is 24,166 gallons per day, or 16.7 gallons per minute. So as you can see, what flows from the reservoir to what gets billed out of water meters, the difference of what's that? Just about 75 gallons per minute goes somewhere else. So the projected water system demands of 2045, that as I've said previously, this is supposed to be a 20-year planning document, so we have to make sure that you guys will have enough water in 2045 as well. Those numbers jump up, and that's based off of population growth. So using that same 377 gallons per capita per day times the new population that might be a 431 gets you to that number. And the interesting part, so here in June, I'm sure a lot of you noticed or maybe heard about it, but there's a pretty substantial water main break on Main Street over by the post office. That got fixed, and since that got fixed, your average day demand dropped substantially. So it went from, I think I said 132,000 down to 83,000 gallons per day. So reduction in just about 50,000 gallons per minute. So pretty substantial leak. My guess is it was leaking for quite a while, and you guys have really porous soils here, so pour water and it's just gonna go down. So it took basically until that leak blew wide open until it daylighted and got on the ground. And since that's been fixed, water usage has gone down substantially. So from 377 gallons per person, all the way down to 237, so huge drop. And you can see that the projected water system demands, if we take this data, which is 4 months of data, but down pretty substantially, which is a good sign for your town, that a lot of the water is leaking, and if we can fix that, then you guys have a very protected water source. Here is just a little visual, so spring source, and this is measured water. Basically, we have a water meter that sits on this end of the storage tank, and then a water meter on this end of the storage tank. So from the spring source to the storage tank to town, and you can see that difference of springs producing 120.6, but with the water bill and what's read at water meters is only 16.7. So that leads me to the assumption that water loss is a big factor in, if we can fix that, making your system run great. So we call this unaccounted for water. It's water that enters the system but doesn't make it to the customer. There's some of these that are, I guess it's just gonna happen with any municipal system. On average, and this is an EPA number, every community that in the entirety of the US, the average water loss is 14%. So water loss it's gonna happen in a community, but at 82.42%, which was your pre-June 2025 number, is pretty substantial. Fixing that break brought it down about 11%, but we would like to get it closer to teens, even low 20s, and I think that'll put you guys in great shape moving forward. Water storage. You guys have a beautiful water storage reservoir up on the hill. I've toured it a couple times. I've examined, you have some dive reports done for a company that went to go clean it. They've said it's in great condition. It was built in 2008 with water storage tanks. You can expect at least 60 years off. I mean, I've seen some in Montana that are still functioning after 100 years. But the tank itself is in great condition. It's at a good location, close to town. You can use the elevation head from up there to pressurize the system, so it's pretty low cost. But the capacity is 350,000 gallons. And for DEQ standards, your storage system for municipal public water system needs to be at least fire flow plus average day demand. Otherwise, DEQ, they're gonna make you either find more storage or do something else to get in compliance. So fire flow is big with the school. It's 300,000 gallons, which takes up most of the tank. That's based off of, I believe it's 2,500 gallons per minute for 2 hours. So in the case of a fire, you can expect that and be able to put it out. Average day demand with your old water loss pre-June of this year was, that brings what your storage required would be in DEQ's eyes to 432,000 gallons. So initially that would make it seem like storage is also an issue, but I'll get to it with the projects here a little bit later, but if we can get that water loss down, you guys will be well within compliance for the water storage and the state's eyes and safeties. So future year scenario based off this, if you're out of compliance today, you'll be out of compliance in the future. And water treatment is so there's, depending on where you get your water in the state of Montana, depends what level you have to treat it by. Because you have a spring source that's a good thing. That means you don't have to treat it to the same level as if you were pulling off the shields. Once you start using surface water for community water, it gets expensive quick. You have to use a lot of stuff like microfiltration, UV treatment, in addition to chlorine, but with it coming or classified as a groundwater source, chlorine and getting the chlorine residual is all you guys need. So that is all that the water in your town is treated with, is a little bit of chlorine. And we have that as it enters the storage tank from the spring source, as well as at the well house. When those are running, a little bit of chlorine gets added there. As far as violations, there's been monitoring violation, but in general, you meet all the federal and state standards for quality. And I've drinking from the water, I think you guys' water tastes great. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about as far as the level of quality of your water. Something to keep an eye on is nitrate levels are elevated, which that can happen for quite a few reasons. Up at the spring source, they're a little elevated, nothing to be concerned about. They aren't even near the maximum contaminant level, which is when you have problems, and then you have to really treat your water to a higher level. But that happens anytime you're on agricultural land. In town, a cause for that might be the septic systems. Over time, septic systems, if they fail, they increase nitrates in groundwater. Or in groundwater, yeah, because then the wells will pull on that. Elevated, but not. I believe I was seeing around 3, and I believe it's. Forget the unit exactly, it's micrograms per liter, but I was seeing 3 to 5 and the maximum contaminant level's 10, so you guys are under it, but it's just something to be aware of. Distribution system, over the last 23 years, there's been an effort to replace a lot of the old cast iron, ductile iron pipes with PVC, which is the standard in most communities moving forward. PVC is great, doesn't corrode, lasts a long time, doesn't weigh a lot. If anybody's held a chunk of cast iron pipe, it's heavy and susceptible to any sort of sulfates in the ground. It'll corrode over time, which might be what's happening with the water main break that happened on Main Street. That was a 6-inch cast iron main. This is basically the amount you guys got from our estimates, about 33,000 feet of pipe in the ground here in Clyde Park, of which 19 is either ductile or cast iron. And it's from those pipes where I theorize that most of the water loss is happening, but 4-inch pipe for a community water system, you can't install that in a town anymore. It's undersized, doesn't meet fire flow requirements. So if you were to open a fire hydrant, you couldn't get the necessary fire flow to meet IFC fire code. So that's something that's is worth looking into and potentially replacing. And then that cast iron, like I mentioned before, know that it's prone to leaks. It's proven that it leaks during the writing of this report, and there's about, for that 6-inch cast iron main, about 3,500 linear feet left. So kind of been touching on this as we go, but deficiencies that we've seen as we were examining your water system. Water loss, that's 1, 2, and 3 in my eyes. Getting that under control. Deteriorating an undersized main. Increased potential for a backflow event, which when they're pressurized, stuff isn't coming into the pipe, but if you get a surge pressure, say you let a fire hydrant rip in the case of a fire, you get, kind of a suction pressure, and if there's contaminated groundwater that can enter your system, which is something you don't wanna have happen for a community system. So also a high likelihood of additional breaks. The cast iron that was fixed this summer. All of that line was placed at the same time, with the same construction methods, with the same pipe bedding. So if it starts to break in one area, chances are it breaks in another area. Hopefully not for a while, but I mean, if anyone's had a garden hose and they've had a leak on it, they plug the leak, it just finds the next weakest spot of the hose and then creates another leak there is kind of how I view that. Water supply, protection for the spring source, that is a great asset for the community, and whatever we need to do to replace that, which would probably, which would include replacing the cast iron main that brings the water, the transmission main from the spring source to the reservoir. That is something that we would like to examine. And then water storage. Insufficient storage at the current water use and loss, but if we get that number down to even sub 50%, then you guys have enough water storage. So I don't think that's a high priority, but or worth examining building another additional storage tank, because I think you have plenty of water to hit fire flow and the average day demand. But as it currently stands today, it is insufficient in size. So after examining where your system's at, in these preliminary engineering reports, we do what we call an alternative analysis. This is broken up into the three parts of a water system. So supply, distribution, and storage. And so with these alternatives, there's also always the option to choose no action if you don't think it's monetarily feasible or it's not something we should examine further. So for supply and this S1 or the other letters in one, there'll always be no action because it's something that we look into to see if that makes the most sense. But alternative S2 is protection of the spring source flows. And alternative S3, identify and drill new well locations, just in case the nitrate issue, being that the wells are in town, which is close to septic systems. That would be another alternative worth exploring. For storage, alternative 1, no action. Alternative R2 would be a new 175,000 gallon storage tank. Chose the number 175,000 for a few reasons. One being that when you had that new tank installed in 2008, I don't know if anybody's seen the site up there, but your old tank up there, the footprint of it's still there, but that was 175,000 gallon storage tank. So on city property up there is a footprint at the right elevation. So if you were to explore getting an additional storage for the town, that makes sense for feasibility, design, and monetarily. And distribution system. There's no action. There's also leak detection, spending some time. There's some acoustic ways of being able to kind of hear where the leak are. You can have instruments into where fire hydrants are, and then overnight when there shouldn't be any use, you can kind of pinpoint where leaks are. It's works to a degree, but that would be one project worth looking into. D3 would be the replacement of the 6-inch cast iron, all in town, and D4 replacement of the 4-inch mains, of which those are all cast iron or ductile iron. And then D5 would be replacement of water meters. Water meters generally have a 20-year life cycle when they get installed. After that, they get a little bit less accurate, and then they are a little bit more prone to leaks, which could be contributing to the water loss that I've been seeing. So after talking with the town, we decided to further look into alternative S2, which is protection of the spring source. And then for distribution, alternatives D3 and D4, which that's basically replacing all the metal pipe in town. So as you can see, I think she blocks a little bit of it. But all of this cast iron line would be replaced all the way up to the spring boxes north of town. And then also add some valving and controls up there so we can better regulate what comes in the town. Capital costs estimated to move forward with that project about $1,276,000. Big number. Fortunately, in public infrastructure world and what seems to be normal life, nothing is cheap nowadays. Distribution system, alternative D3, so that would be the orange lines in town, so going down Main Street and then up here east of Main. All of those lines are the 6-inch cast iron. We know those are prone to break. And so replacing about 3,500 linear feet, which includes for that one, there'd be permitting for MDT, road repair, adding new water meters, replacing fire hydrants where they need to be. If there's not one at the corner, one's old, but capital cost for that project would be 1.8 and change million dollars. Alternative D4, that would be what color is that? The yellow lines that are highlighted in the distribution system. Those lines, as I said earlier, are undersized, can't quite reach fire flow, and then they're also made out of cast iron and ductile iron, which we assume either are leaking or are prone to leaks. Capital cost for that one would be $1.23 million. But that would also be the same thing, any water meters that were along that line would get replaced, service lines up to the property owner. And one benefit when you replace 4-inch lines and get it up to fire code is chances are insurance costs can come down if insurance companies think that they give basically all communities a score for fire protection, and if you have undersized lines, you score worse, and that results in increased insurance costs to you guys, the citizens. So if you can replace undersized lines with standard 6-inch or greater lines, that generally results in a insurance reduction. So how are we gonna pay for all this? Because those are big numbers, and you're talking about $1.8 million spread amongst 351 people. That's not entirely feasible. So something that we take great pride in at Great West Engineering is coming up with funding strategies and identifying different avenues where we can get state grant money or very low interest loans to help pay for some of these capital improvement projects. And I guess so they basically judge the city as in general off of what they call MHI, which is the moderate high income.
Median household income.
Median household income. So that's. That median household income is then. Multiplied by what they call the target rate, and they shoot for what they think. With a community that has a median income of. That amount, that the target rate should be around $67.45 a month for a water bill. I'll get into that a little bit more on the next slide. And then LMI, low and moderate income.
Bingo.
All right, I got that. That's used for a different funding source called the Community Development Block Grant. And if that number is over 51%, then you are eligible to apply for some of those grant funds, which can help lower costs substantially. So right now, the existing average residential monthly rate that we found was around $87.04 a month for a water bill. With where your guys's numbers are at, you have grant eligibility for MSEP, which is the Montana Full Endowment Program, RRGL, which is the
Renewable Resource Grant Program.
Renewable Resource Grant Program. Thanks, Craig. He's the funding expert. And then CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant. Loan programs which are available, and these have different terms and interest percentages, but it's a DEQ state revolving fund, SRF, and then USDA rural development. So those are two loan programs that the community is eligible for. So funding scenarios, while we can't guarantee anything, we have a great track record and feel confident in at least being able to get some of these programs, but for the grant ones, which are funded, sometimes there's a match that you need to put forward to get these funds, but it's a grant, so it's. If you get the MSEP grant for funding the D3 and D4, which is replace all the metal pipe in the ground, then they still get a grant towards construction for $625,000. If you get the RRG grant, another $125,000. And if you put in an application and get selected for the Community Development Block Grant, that's another grant funded $750,000. Both of those projects, the price is just, if we were to do both at the same time, the total capital cost is just north of $3 million, of which that you would have a loan balance that for this one, we looked at SRF and they give you terms and you can, if it makes more sense to the community, you can change it from a 20-year to a 30-year. They give a little leeway there, but a 2.5% 20-year loan would come out to about $781,000, which would be spread amongst the community for a $3 million project would be the cost to you guys. SRF gives grant forgiveness, which we've had good luck getting, so that's where that other $781,000 comes from. Local contribution, that's unknown at this time. Sometimes you have to put a little bit of your own money to release those funds, and we can, as we move further into that process with grant applications, talking to the funding agencies, we can figure out what number that might be.
Yeah, they haven't determined. Representative Fitzpatrick, who's the chairman of the Long Range Planning Committee, put language in House Bill 6 last session, which is the funding bill that finances the renewable resource grant and loan program. And he decided that there needs to be skin in the game. Which in his mind means cash alone, which I disagree with, but that's irrelevant. So the DNRC is trying to determine a methodology to how much cash a community like Clyde Park would have to contribute as a match to a renewable resource grant. That has not yet been determined, but one of the methodology that they're leaning toward, is I recently had a conversation with the woman who manages the programs at the DNRC, is the greater your match, you fall into either a low, medium, or high. So the more cash you contribute, if you X amount that meets the low, you get, say, 10 points, median, you get 20 points, and high, you get 30 points. Again, this is all speculative right now. They have not gone through the administrative rules of Montana process. So we're keeping an eye on this, but that's why there's a question mark there. There will be a cash contribution, but we at this time cannot tell you what that would be. So that's unfortunate, but we'll find out soon, and we'll obviously let the town know what that's gonna look like. Then you have to make the decision of how much cash you can afford to contribute and how much you want to contribute. So stay tuned. So
So moving on, scenario 2, very similar. You get the MSEP money, the RRG money, the CDBG money, but instead of using the SRF with its shorter term loans with a better interest rate, you go with the RD, USDA, Rural Development Loan and Grant Forgiveness. But that's a 3-year or 3%, 40-year note. But that would result in a rate increase of between $5 and $7.
yeah, and if I may, Jesse,
Mhm.
that number is going to change. You may not know this, but the House did vote to put the government back to work. Just tonight, and rural development has been out of work, or hasn't been working since October 1st. And RD changes their interest rates each quarter. The 3.125% will likely change. And based on comments that we've gotten from the gentleman who manages that program, they're expecting that interest rate to actually go down. We'll see. So as of today, that number is outdated. It's not Jesse's fault. Blame Congress. But so the numbers are still a little loosey-goosey. I wish we had better, more definitive numbers for you, but that's just what we're having to deal with right now, so.
So that's kind of what it would, and as he was alluding to, it's a lot of this is slightly up in the air until you actually get acceptance or them under contract, but this is what it would look like to fund a $3 million capital improvement project. This one would be just replacing the 6-inch mains. So once again, MSEP, RRG, CDBG grant funded. Then I don't think I updated that. Sorry about that. That SRF loan didn't update that, but basically, if you take a $1.8 million project, and it would look more along the lines of a $1 to $2 rate increase for the citizens to replace all the capital or all the cast iron in town. Another alternate scenario is you don't get the CDBG funding, which can sometimes be competitive. And in that case, to fund a $1.8 million project, it would look to the citizens as a $3 to $5 rate increase to get all that part replaced. So environmental assessments, I talked about that earlier, sent out letters with those 3 projects that we had identified as being in our minds, high priority or the most useful to the community, to see if any of these agencies had any comments, concerns. We've heard back from some of them, such as MDT, that's like, well, this 6-inch water line's gonna go down Main and that's our right of way, stuff like that, but we just have, as part of the PER process, we have to let all these agencies know, and a lot of acronyms there. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but we have contacted all of them. Haven't gotten responses from everybody yet, but it's coming. But no huge concerns with any of those projects that we've suggested. So yeah, that brings me to the end. I feel like that was a little bit of doom and gloom. But in general, for your guys' water system, you have you have the most important thing, which is that spring source that gives you enough water for growth for 20 years and clean water for 20 years, which a lot of communities we work with, half of the battle is finding a water source that is drinkable. But they don't have to drive out of town and pick up a bunch of bottled water to use at their house. Cause there's a lot of places in Montana where you drill a well or try to get it off the surface water, and it's, whether it tastes bad or it's not, long-term health problems. You guys don't have that here. You have a great spring source, that's low cost to the city, because the gravity feeds to town, very unique, and that's an amazing asset to have. Your storage system, even though as of today by DEQ's rules, it's a little bit undersized. If we can get the water loss under control, then that's a perfectly sized storage tank for growth for 20 years. So I guess your guys' water system, if we can get the leaks under control, I think it's gonna be safe, healthy, and plenty for everyone for the next 20 years. So I think you guys are in a good place, just need to plug a few leaks from my eyes, but any questions, anybody?
Before we take comments, I just want to remind you that the meeting's being recorded, and for the purpose of the recording, since we're pretty tight, just stand in place and say your name, and the first time just say your address, or if you're a Clyde Park resident, then after that, you just have to say your name when you stand. All right, thank you.
Question.
Teresa, you need to stand, just so we can hear you better. You don't have.
Sorry, I have a bad throat right now, but when it says contribution, town contribution, do some of those grants count towards that contribution? No. Okay. Good to know.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't. I'm Craig Erickson, by the way, who's ever recording, but it does not. And unfortunately, loans do not. Go off on a tangent on this, but loans do not count as a cash contribution. It has to be cash.
Town funds.
Um, And the long range planning committee, I listened to the hearings last January. They were adamant about that. So much so, they put it in the bill. Because up until this, they actually said no to communities who didn't have a match. Even though the grant program at the time didn't require it. Okay? We could have a long discussion about the fairness of that too, but it's cash. Story there.
else, so if anybody wants to ask questions later or reach out to me, I'll leave a bunch of business cards, feel free to email or call. But
Brian Eckenrod, 105 Second Avenue North. So I think I can confidently say that that some time has been spent with leak detection equipment, some of which we own. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I did get a little bit of an amplification that it's not perfect. It's difficult, and that's what I've gathered from, Rural Water coming out, Leo, Will, Diane, Bo, everyone I've talked to, it's kind of this, it's just not a perfect system. So I guess just from an opinion from you guys, do you keep plugging away at that? Do you hire, do you outsource it or combine that with the town and this outsourced contingency? Or do you just go straight to the problem, which it seems like you've identified is these outdated lines?
yeah, I would,
I mean, how much more do you put into chasing this kind of chasing your tail around with this leak detection equipment, which, it has its positives, I guess, but it just seems like it's a lot of time versus we know there's leaks in those old pipes. You've presented how much it's gonna cost and where some of those focuses can be. I mean, does it make more sense just to go right to those versus putting more energy into this leak detection?
yeah, I'd say the leak detection can be more useful. I know they use it a lot in like a city the size of Missoula, where they can't just be like, we're gonna replace the 6-inch cast iron. It's just, there's too much. So they kind of target smaller sections. So I think in a community that size, leak detection makes a little bit more sense for you guys. We know the 6-inch is leaking. I don't know if it's really worth spending money to get somebody out here to run through all the tests to tell you that it's leaking. That's my 2 cents on it. I mean, it can help pinpoint it and then do some spot repairs. But from my eyes, as a water engineer, you guys are, I think, 80% of the way there on PVC, which I think all of that has been installed in the last 23 years. I believe 2002 is when you started putting it in. So you're almost there, and my assumption is that just tackle the problem, whether you want it to do it in 2 parts with 2 different projects, maybe as a community, if you feel real strong about, not wanting to do a $3 million project at one go and try and do it in the 2 phases like we had it broken up and get half of it now, half of it later for a little bit less rate increase capital cost. I think it's prudent to just go for the problem here, because there's not all that much left, and if you spend the money for somebody to come out here, they're gonna say, well, there's leaks. And then you spend more time trying to pinpoint it, but the real answer is rather than just fixing that leak, because another one's gonna spring up, I think it makes more sense here to just get that metal pipe out of the ground and replace it with.
And then one other question, Brian Eckenrod again, is the meters. So if we were to tackle some of the outdated meters, I mean, I think anyone who's read meters around town knows that that's an issue. What effect would that have on some of this contribution money or funding from the town? Like, how does that work? Does that make more money available to throw or to put toward these projects? I mean, I guess I'm trying to prioritize. We didn't talk too much about meters, but I mean, it's an issue, obviously, and you identified it. If we were to solve some of these meter issues, maybe not all of them, we know that's an expensive project as well, where we've looked into it. But if you were to fix or start to fix some of those meters, maybe the ones of concern, or, you know, do some, look into prioritizing where to start with that, would that free up more by increasing the billables? I guess, how does that budget wise work? Does that make sense to look at those meters to put more money into these contributions for these grants?
So with the replacement of those lines, anything in the general vicinity, those meters would be replaced as part of that project.
Right.
It's easier once you're in there and you're working on that stretch of line to just go ahead and get the meter. So those have already been, the ones in the area of those projects have already been added into the cost of those projects, I guess. So, I mean, the big projects were 2002, 2008, as far as water line projects in this town. So I guess my thought would be, if you wanna do something in addition to that, start looking at the 2002 meters first. And then, and maybe not even as like a full project of just get all those meters out at once, but maybe try and tackle a few a year. It's kind of check. In general, when you get all of the meters functioning correctly, if you do about 5% of the meters in town a year, that should just keep the cycle going to have them all within that 20-year life cycle. Is, so kind of add that into the capital improvement plan would be how I would tackle that going forward. But as far as reducing the cost for those projects, the costs of the meters in the vicinity have already been included there.
Well, wasn't your question a more accurate meter gonna generate more revenue for the town?
Yeah, I mean, that was, I guess I don't have a grasp on how, and if that would, yeah, exactly, if that would allow us to have more.
Yeah, I'm not an engineer, like, I'm a funding person, that's what I do. But we have seen where communities, I think the useful life of a meter is 10 to 15 years. 20, okay. Well, older meters are less accurate. To what degree? That I can't speak to, but we've had clients see their revenues actually go up when they replace their meters because they're more accurate. That happened in Twin Bridges. So,
At least by case basis is what I've seen, and sometimes they are working just fine at 20 years, sometimes they haven't been recording correctly for half of the life cycle. But it can be substantial and get the numbers it's reading versus whether it's overcharging the customer, which we don't want, or undercharging the customer, which we also don't want, so.
funding agencies like funding meters.
Sean Jones, 414 First Street East. Question and just a couple comments. So when you said your cash input, I assume you're saying is directly related to, I don't want to presume, qualification of some of that grant. You said like 10 points, 20 points, 30 points.
Whatever, yeah.
So, so obviously in that model they're using, yes, it almost seems unfair because the people that need it the most are gonna not have the cash, so it could possibly be discriminated against by not having it. So I just wanted to hear you right that those two correlate. But I guess for me, I look at it and I say, this problem is only gonna get more expensive. I mean, if we all would have said, what did it cost to dig a basement 10 years ago versus what it costs today? We kick this can down and we talk about it in 10 years. This 3 million goes to 5 million. So I applaud you guys for tackling it. I personally think something that really needs to be looked at, which could solve a lot of problems, and that is the funding that the city could come up with. And what I mean by that, I have heard, I know this might sound like blue sky and happy feelings, but we have a lot of wealthy people in the area that love philanthropy and love projects like this. And I've heard several of them say, I wish I knew what I could do. And so when
Yeah.
you guys know what the ranch prices have sold around here, and I've had some of them say, hey, how can we help? What can we do? And when you talk about this, you know, the 800,000 cost to us for this cash cost to get grant eligibility or qualification. I really believe as a source, I think you should look at, I think there's a lot of families, corporations that would love to help our town and our community. They feel like they're a part of it, they want to be a part of it. And I think you'd be amazed at the money you could raise towards the, you know, the non-grant side of things. I think you'd be amazed at what you could raise.
Yeah, we've gotten private foundation funding for projects. Senior centers, parks, that kind of thing, swimming pools, what have you. Never for a water project, but your point is valid. And if you know people, and that's the key thing with all of this, of relationships, of course. But if you know people who may have the kind of money where they could contribute something, make the ask. I'm all for that. I don't know who these people are, of course, but that would also be a pretty good part of the story to tell when you're applying for grants, that you actually had people in the community write checks to help fund this project. That would be an amazing selling point. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know who these people are, obviously, but if they're out there, ask them. Yeah, so.
Anybody who knows me knows that my next comment will be, thank you for chairing our capital campaign committee.
I mean, you know, you're absolutely right. I worked on a senior center project in Twin Bridges. Now it's apples and oranges, right? They got a CDBG grant. They were gonna borrow money from the bank to make it a match for a CDBG grant, which is 25%. Right? The bank was committed to ponying up the money. When the news of the grant was awarded, people started showing up writing checks. They didn't borrow a dime. And then a wealthy rancher who owns a ranch outside of Twin Bridges contributed another $100,000 so they could build an expand, excuse me, the brand new senior center that they just completed the construction. Again, that's a senior center, maybe a little sexier than a water project, but what you're talking about, I've seen happen. So as the chair of the capital campaign committee, I wish. But people kidding aside,
Yeah.
what you're talking about is realistic.
Yeah,
It is, it really is.
I just think all our needs, whether it's a new facility here, whether it's paved streets, whether it's whatever. We can't come up with enough money ourselves, you know, $60 a month, $80 a month. The only avenue towards us getting these things done are generous families, and they're set up to do it. They want to do it. We just need to ask.
The other thing, and I love telling this story. And it's true. You have a client in Northwest Montana that most of the community was septic. And that's a loose term. Basically, there were pits in the ground lined with rock. So the sewage was going straight into the ground. And they looked at this problem in the late 90s, and a very reputable engineering firm estimated the cost at $6 million. And of course, we can't afford it. So they kicked the can down the road, and it got to the point in 2016 where the county sanitarian was having trouble permitting new septic systems because those lot sizes were too small. So they're now in the midst of building the project. And what was a $6 million project in the late nineties is now a $35 million project. So I couldn't agree with you more. Kicking the can down the road means you're going to spend more money. Sometime, somewhere you will. And I've seen it over and over and over again. Deferred maintenance is a killer. It is, so. It's a little bit subjective, excuse me, but I mean, that's my personal experience of 25 years of doing this. So.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Hey,
Second
Sydney,
call.
this
Oh,
is
yep,
Zach.
go
Can I
ahead.
ask some questions online?
Thank you, Zach.
Hey, this is Zach, 303 Lathrop. So I got just a couple questions on your survey. So if it gets too technical, I can send an email because some of it's just my curiosity. But did you, on the flow meters that are coming in and out of the reservoir that you're measuring or basically basing some of the loss off, did you do any calibration on those or pull them out and just check them out first? Or is that part of the normal maintenance of those meters?
We did not pull those out. Those are Badger meters, electromagnetic meters, and they seem to be in good condition. I've seen those when they're bad vary maybe ±5%. But as part of this study, no, I did not pull them out. Those mag meters, we've had this problem in another community up north to get them calibrated. You kind of have to send them into Badger. So we did not pursue that. Visual inspection, I'd say that they're working. I have confidence ±5%.
All right, and then I just curious. No, that's fine. I was just curious. Do you have an estimate, or did you cover a loss that we're losing in the pipeline from the spring box to the reservoir? Or did I miss that?
So we haven't had any measured flows from a meter from the spring source to the before it gets to the reservoir. So our first point of measurement is just north of the reservoir. So I theorize that there is some loss in that line. The most recent hard number I found was, I think it was the 1999, there's a hydrogeologic report that was done on the spring boxes up there, and they were guessing that it might be 150, 160, if I remember right. But that varies from season to season. I think older study was the only time I've seen that up to 200 gallons per minute number published, but my guess is that there is some water loss, but not to the level that we're seeing in town.
Okay, because I didn't know if that pipe was roughly the same age as some of that old pipe, or if that was the original pipeline that's in there. Or if anybody knows that.
One thing about pipe that's transmission main that doesn't get the ground shock, travel cars going over it, is it tends to stay a little longer.
Yeah. That's cool. And then the other question I had, I appreciate the answer on that, is obviously if we fix these leaks and we're instead of, dumping whatever 80% of our water into the ground, what's our cost to treat that, like every 10,000 gallons? Is there much of a cost savings on that would go back, or is it just pennies on the dollar compared to what we got to do?
Top of my head, I don't know. Bo was, I think, or Sydney, I think I was talking to you guys, and chlorine costs are somewhere around 100. Am I remembering this right?
165, 170.
A month. Okay, so
Oh, so yeah, nothing. Yeah.
So if we cut that down in half, saving $80 a month, just throw a number out there, so it's not like.
Yeah, that's
It's-
nothing, yeah.
It's a savings, but it's not like. Break the bank, I guess. But it is a
Oh, yeah.
savings.
No, there's nothing compared to what you do, so, all right, well, thanks for answering those questions, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, Nick. Thanks for asking.
Any other questions, or comments? One more call for questions or comments. Hey, thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Grant. You guys are gonna stay around, right, for a while? Stay through our water hearing at least?
It's up to you.
That would be great if you can, yeah. So let's take a 5-minute stand up and stretch. Council, if you can come back around the table here for the next portion of it. If you need to use the restroom, it's back through the office there.
Just if anybody doesn't want to contact me later, I'll leave us just. Cards here, so feel free to email, call, questions about the water system, something you're unsure of.
Yeah.
Take this chair.
Need one, so actually, I'll
Sorry,
that
we're
one's
gonna
below one.
kind of squeeze in on the side of the.
I always take the short one. Please forget about that.
This one here. This one. Oh, no, you're good, out of the way.
Wait, wait, it's yours, you should on the edge. Okay.
I think we can slide it back a little.
I got the low one.
We got rid of them.
As close as possible.
If you turn over the meeting. I don't think I did. Jesse. Did you turn the house back over to us?
She did mention that, and you know what I did? Just shut my computer.
Anybody has any funding questions? Here's my card. Happy to. I'll talk funding all day long, so I can look you out.
Will.
Yes, I will. What I do.
Sydney, do you bottled water?
There's Justin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a clear picture of what they're gonna do with the cash contributions and the RG grants.
Yeah.
So.
Well, everything we've done requires a cash contribution, so.
Yeah, it does, but. You know, in stuff you can match anything. Like if CDBG you can match, they can match it, right?
Yeah.
Our RGL never had a match. It was one of the.
All they did on the
Really nice facets about it.
The one you voted down last Friday. You marked my
I
word.
mean, I guess I understand where representative comes back. I don't want percent grant. Projects either.
This spring you're gonna have a new pump here. Do the.
Contribution.
All they go to.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a 20-year obligation. How is that not a contribution?
But then you vote next spring, I'm gonna be the major. Before.
So this is a water hearing for an increase?
Yep, we are, let's see. If you-
So. There's four of them. Clyde Park Abbey Capital.
Well, we need
We do, it needs updating again, but yes, we do.
Oh,
So
no, it's that house. All they do is wear.
here, you have the most recent.
Well, yeah, I thought you did. So if we're going to go for funding next spring, I strongly recommend you update it.
Yeah.
Well.
That's
Yeah.
If I get,
Everything else was 4%.
Yeah, you think so?
That is super helpful.
That's what we're looking
Yeah,
at.
and you can talk more about that later, obviously, you have things that you.
So this is the letter that was sent to everybody. All right, are we ready to begin again? Thank you, Grant.
Oh, the only problem with that, I think, you gotta get all the other counties in the state for one with that.
We're just ground work.
You got 75.
We just had to.
Sheriff's department.
It won't work, but they're a little better than that, that's a thing.
Too sure.
She got it. Yeah. it was-
That well, the church, you know, makes you, you know. You feel the fact anyway, that you might as well, you get this church. Your last name is Walsh.
Okay, Stacy, are you ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Okay, so what we, this is our first public hearing on the change of the water rate structure. You all received a letter and, Stacy, I'm just gonna have you take it from here and walk us through. You've got a presentation and you have the charts of, what it would look like to have, to redo our gallons for the minimum.
Okay, first off, thank you, council, for your questions and having me do this research. I learned a lot in doing so. I'm gonna go ahead and share this slideshow. Can everyone see the screen?
It's not up yet.
Well,
There it is.
all right. Just a second, I've got a lot of pages open again. Okay, so the Town of Clyde Park water rate hearing, November 12th, tonight. Purpose of tonight's hearing is to review the proposed updates to the water rate structure. Receive public input before the final adoption. Our goal is fairness, conservation, and long-term financial sustainability. Our current water rate structure, the base rate for a 3/4 inch meter, which is most of the residential lines in town, includes 4,000 gallons at $77.91. Our overage charges at this time are $1.92 per 1,000 gallons above that base of 4,000 gallons. Our well lot fee for those that are not on city water is $19.43 per month. The proposed changes are that the base rate remains $77.91 per month. 3/4 inch meters reduce their base gallons from 4,000 to either 3,000 gallons or 2,000 gallons. The 1.5 inch meters reduce base gallons from 16,000 gallons to 13,000 gallons. And an added overage of either $5 or $7 per 1,000 gallons above the base. The well lot fee increase would be from $19.43 to $23 per month. All of these across the board are a 20% decrease/increase. Why this matters. Keeping the base rate at $77.91 protects most households. Reducing included gallons makes the system fairer for the majority of the residents. Higher volume users will contribute proportionally more to the water system maintenance. I've got a thingy in my way here. Hold on, I can't see around it. And I did the study on the October bills for the October residential usage. As far as the 3,000 gallons went, 67.46% of residents used less than 3,000 gallons. 32.54% used more. At 2,000 gallons, 52.66 used less, and 47.34 used more. Most Clyde Park households are low to moderate users. A tiered rate ensures that they aren't subsidizing the heaviest users. When I looked at November to November on the annual for the residential usage, the numbers came out for the 3,000 that 61.59% used less than 3,000 gallons. 38% used more than 3,000 gallons. If we looked at the 2,000 gallon figure, 40.24% used less than 2,000, and 59.76 used more than 2,000. Example bills with the breakdown at the 3,000 gallon base rate would look like this. Anybody using up to 3,000 gallons would be paying the standard $77.91 a month that's being charged now. If you use 4,000 gallons at the rate of $5 on the extra 1,000, it would be $82.91, and $7 at the extra 1,000 would be $84.91. And as it continues, 6,000 gallons would be $92.91, $98.91. 10,000, $112, or $126. Bill examples, if it were to be chosen to go to 2,000 gallons, anyone up to 2,000 gallons would stay at $77.91. 3,000 gallons at the $5 per 1,000 extra would be $82.91. At the $7 per 1,000 extra would be $84.91. And it goes up on the chart here all the way down to the 10,000 gallons, which their bill would be $117.91 or $133.91. Impact on revenue and sustainability. The current projected annual revenues are $179,820, which is what was in our budget this year. With proposed structures, 3,000 gallons increased at $5 would bring in $190,772. With an increase at $7 per 1,000 extra would be $195,152. If it were decreased to 2,000 with the same $5 per 1,000 extra, it would be $196,542. Or at the $7, $203,231. These are the changes that would help fund the operations, maintenance, and loan obligations without changing that base rate of $77.91 for those that are using low water. We adjust the structure because of fairness. It aligns bills with the actual use, protects low usage households. It encourages efficient water use and conservation. And it supports reserves, repairs, and regulatory compliance. The community impact is that the low to average users with little to no charge in monthly bills will change. The high usage, modest increase based on the actual use. Funds are dedicated to the system reliability and to the upgrades. Some common questions that have been asked of us is why not raise the base rate? Adjusting the base rate, the base rate gallons is fairer and it avoids the across the board hikes. And if you use under 3,000 gallons, there'll be no change in your bill. These options were chosen because the council reviewed overall water usage data across the community. The majority of households in Clyde Park use around 3,000 gallons or less per month. So it didn't seem fair to raise everyone's base rate equally. Instead, the goal was to protect the low usage households while asking higher usage customers to pay a little more towards the cost of maintaining the system. This approach balances fairness, conservation, and sustainability. What does the added revenue support? Operations, maintenance, debt obligations, and reserves. If you have any comments, you can speak tonight, ask questions, or submit written comments to the clerk, Luann, or through our email or our website, and they will be printed and given to the council before the next meeting in December for the final decision. Does the council have any questions? Hello?
No questions.
I think we've asked a lot of them already.
Okay.
I would like to know what the community thinks. That's what.
Okay, Mayor, I turn the floor over to you.
All right, we'll open the public comment period. The council will consider your input and finalize the adoption at a second hearing, which will be at the next town council meeting on December 10th. Final details will be posted on the website in public notices. And so I'll open it to your comments. And again, I want to ask you to please stand and first say your name and address the first time. This is for the purposes of the recording. And so the people who are participating online can actually see who's speaking. Okay. Yes, Teresa.
Sorry, I butt in real quick. Stacy, I did have a question. I couldn't remember it, but now I remembered. Are we online now with that new water system where customers can look up how much their usage is?
Yes, and we're going to go over that after this hearing.
Okay. That's awesome.
Okay.
This slideshow and all the information I just showed is available online in the November meeting packet information.
Yes, please stand.
Donna Holman at 215 Miles Avenue. I vote that we leave it at 3,000 gallons per household per month. I think taking it down to 2,000 is just not enough for a household. Even a small household is 2,000 gallons isn't enough. I think it should stay at 3,000.
Thank you for your comments.
Could I ask the public a question?
Sure.
Do any of you have a preference on the $5 or $7 or any comment on that? Cause I need to know that. I don't know where I stand on it. I don't know where you stand on it. Done.
Donna Hillman, I would propose the $5 one proposal. I think 7 is just a little too extreme right now. Because in some ways I feel like this whole restructuring is we're paying for stuff that wasn't accounted for before our time. And now we're asked to pay for that. pay for current and pay what's going on in the future. And I just think there's too many changes, too much money happening as an increase to the community all at one time.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Second call for
Sydney-
comments?
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
Sydney, this is Zach on, oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
okay, sorry, can't tell somebody else there again. Apologize for
Zach
being
said
online. Zach, yeah, 303 Lathrop. I guess the question, and maybe this was gone over in early meetings, so I apologize, but what's driving the need for the increase in funds? Is it, are we doing a deficiency? Are we trying to stock away a little bit of money for the expansion, or what's the driver for that?
Stacy, do you want to take that one first?
The need for the increase is that we already have, I'm sorry. We already have two loans that the town's been paying on. One is for 800,000 and the other one is for 400,000 that are not quite anywhere near being paid down. And now we're looking at needing to take out more loans to go along with more grants in order to fix the pipes and the leaks that are in town. And none of that, the water, that's just the water part of the town. It doesn't help with any of the other improvements or the care or the things that need taken care of in town.
I'll add on to
Okay, so-
that,
Oh,
the,
go ahead.
sorry, that so the loans, there was not any water increases for about 15 years. And those loans have had interest only paid on them in this entire time. So none of the principal has been paid down on those loans. So it's a big catch up. And then,
Okay.
as Shauna pointed out, this is, this is what we're facing. And it's just the reality of what we need to do. So we're trying, it is also, correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, but it is required or highly recommended that water rate increases are done on at least an annual basis to stay ahead. You have to stay, once you can get ahead, you definitely have to stay ahead because you are trying to plan for the future.
Can I make a comment? One other thing in all of this, we're supposed to have a capital reserve or a water reserve. Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
but that it is not at the level it's supposed to be at. So we're trying to, it wasn't built up the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah. There was someone online who had a comment, and then I'll get back to you, Stacy.
It was me.
Carolee.
First of all, thank you guys for thinking about the people by
Carolee,
not
can you
raising.
say your name and address for us, please?
Oh, sorry, Carolee, 206 Park Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you for thinking about everyone by not raising the rates this time. I would agree with the person that said not to go below 3,000. And also the other point that was made, which I can't remember at the moment, but the other thing that this is $5 instead of the $7, just because in keeping with the idea of not raising the rates or going with the lesser gallons instead, just trying to keep it as low as possible for everyone. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolee. Stacy, you were next.
Just wanted to make a comment, that the council, they cringed with the fact that they knew that this money needed to be spent and that they had to raise rates. So I think this is a great alternative that they're looking at, to put the burden on those that are using the excess water to pay for it, and those that haven't changed their water use aren't.
Was there anyone else online? I thought I heard maybe a comment started. Okay, Angela,
Angela Cook, 206 Dinsmore Avenue. So this 20% reduction or increase, depending on which way you're going on this. My question about that was, you said that there hasn't been an increase in the last 15 years. Does this account for the last 15 years? Or are we gonna be looking at 20-30% increases in the future as well? Or are we looking at smaller increases in the future to account for those annual increases? Does this take care of the last 15 or no?
Thank you for bringing that up. I do want to clarify, we've had until the first increase that the council put in place 2 years ago, was it? Yeah. So just for clarification, it was like 15 some years prior to that. But I don't think that we can say for sure what the increase would be. It's every year the council will address that again with public input and just, try to keep covering our things but keeping it reasonable.
Okay, so does any of this account for the gap that we're filling in over the last 15 years? Like, will this 20% take care of that if we were to pass through with that? Or are we, like I said, looking larger and larger in the future? I just wanna see that if we're gonna make these types of changes, this big of an increase, that we're accounting for kind of what's gone on in the past, and we're not looking at such huge hikes in the future.
Stacy, do you have a comment on that?
I heard part of what she said. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Do you need to talk louder?
Just a little
Can you
bit.
hear me? Okay, so my question is this 20% that we're looking at on our proposal today, accounting for the last, well, prior to our increases, the 15-year gap that we didn't have any increases? Is this filling enough of that gap there to where we're not gonna have huge increases in the future? They're gonna be more reasonable. We're not looking at 20-30%.
Yes, they are going to be more reasonable. We're not looking at 20% or 30% more increases at that time. Huge strides were made 2 years ago when they increased the rates, and then last year when the rates were increased. So, and if you look, and when Great West was talking about that spot that we needed to be in order to qualify for the grants and to qualify for different funding, when we raised the rates from $58 to $65 2 years ago, we finally were able to qualify for grants. Before that time, they wouldn't even consider us. Last year, when they raised the rates to the $77.91, it gave us even stronger opportunities. This change to the structure, instead of raising the rates, will bring income that the town needs without changing that overall base rate that qualifies us where we need to be for the grants. I forgot his name from Great West, but that's where we need to be. So, I mean, if you're looking at increases in the future, that's 100% up to the council. I mean, it could be anywhere from 3% to 7%.
Thank you.
Does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question?
Mostly, yes.
Grant?
Correct.
Craig,
Yeah.
he does the grants.
Whatever you do.
Please stand and say.
Yeah, Craig Erickson, 355 Ryan Street, Helena, Montana. I'm curious, what does the town council consider to be, it's okay, so don't worry about it. What does the council consider to be a prudent reserve? Is that 1 year of operating revenue, 6 months? I'm curious. Have you thought about that?
What do we consider a good reserve amount?
Our reserve is determined by Rural Water, Bobby Schuler from Rural Water. We have gone through and done a complete analysis chart to find our reserve and our pricing that needs to be done. So at this point, we're doing 60%, I believe.
Oh, okay,
For 1 year, a 1 year reserve.
1 year reserve.
okay, thank you, I appreciate that, I'm just
Mhm.
curious.
You're welcome, Grant. Great.
Thank you.
Welcome, cash money.
So can I just remind everyone, I don't know if everyone knows,
Say your name, please.
Teresa, sorry,
Thank you.
council member, sorry. When we do the rate changes, there is a formula that not Great West, rural water gives us, and we have to follow that. We cannot just willy-nilly raise the rates. It's an actual spreadsheet. We put our numbers in. This is the loans we have. This is how many customers we have. And it will figure out our max base rate. We cannot just start charging crazy amounts.
Stacy, did you have a chance to actually do that portion of it? So if we set all this aside and just did an across the board base rate change, do you know what that figure would be? She's staring at her screens, not at us.
You're muted.
Thank you. The rate analysis that we use does not at this time configure in the decrease of the usage. We're working on that with Bobby, but I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see?
It's coming up. Yeah, so she.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Let's try that again. Those who know me know that I have like 10 screens open at one time. Okay. Can y'all see the rate analysis?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this was last year's when we went through and put in our figures to find out what we were going to need to pay per year the existing debt, put towards the loan. This one's not actually filled out at this time. I'm sorry. We had $85,000 worth of operation and maintenance in 2023, which carried over to the 2024 rate increase. So this is the analysis chart that Teresa's talking about, to give us the opportunity to put numbers in to find out what we're going to charge. Now, at this time, this specific spreadsheet is set up for 4,000 gallons.
Mhm.
And Bobby and I were looking on altering it to see where to make the changes necessary.
Right.
Does that help any?
At the $77 rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that may seem simple, but it's not as simple as it looks with the.
I mean, it just modifies what goes into the reserve fund, James Walsh.
Thank you, James.
And then what we can put into that principal payment.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
that we can do it, Dave.
Yeah.
That's the big key.
Yes.
Sean Jones, 414 First Street East. I guess what perks my ears up a little bit, I was
Quiet, please.
on the council when we did the initial water update.
Yeah.
With all of that. And when we did it, they came back with the numbers that told us we need this for, to satisfy the loans. When I hear you say we've just been paying on the interest, that perks my ears up, because when we did that, principal, interest, reserve, they made us have those numbers, and that was all built in. So I guess my question is where, and I'm for the increase, I'm not against it, but like, where did we go wrong that we are only paying on the interest and not the principal? Is it, and I'm not suggesting you guys, but where, since we did the original one, where have we messed up so bad that we're only paying on interest? And how do we, if we look at these new ones, grants and stuff, what's going wrong that we're not on our target path to those loans being paid off on time, which they should be? What was the change there? Does anybody know?
Stacy, can you speak to that, please?
I remember. Cause when all them years when we never did a rate increase,
Oh, I'm sorry, could you, for the camera?
Roger Chandler, I live over there.
Thank you.
All them years when we didn't do the rate increase. The money that was coming in monthly for the water bills was going to operating, and they weren't, instead of paying on the principal and stuff, they were taking the principal money, using it for the operating and just paying the interest balance. Because believe it or not, there's been this stuff called inflation, and the price of everything kept going up, but they never raised water bill, and we're actually required to make sure that our water system is self-funding. And that's what we weren't doing for about 10, 12 years.
Right, we hadn't been tracking through the inflation increases.
Okay,
Thanks.
so then I guess my question, it goes back to what
And that
this
comes
lady
to a
was saying.
previous.
Does this take into account for outdated meters, all these things? Is this rate increase reasonable enough? And I mean, it is what it is. You guys can't fudge it, but just for transparency, has all that stuff been thought about with maintenance, with meters, with all the stuff that's coming on board? Is that, you know, can we with some certainty say that, oh, this is a decent sized rate increase, but we won't have these in the future? I mean, it is what it is, but it's just nice to know that, no, you need to expect X.
Thank you. Stacy?
Can I make a comment to that effect? I mean,
Please.
realistically, considering what we have coming out, it would be great to be able to increase the water more. But we also get to see how many people can't pay their water bill every month and who are struggling to pay things. So the town council has to find a happy medium between the two. And I think that this, by reducing the usage, those that are struggling can monitor their water usage and try to keep their bills down to where they can make it affordable for them.
Carla? Do I see your hand up there?
Carla Williams, 204 3rd Avenue South. So a year ago, when we were originally discussing the water rate, the original estimate was $88 per month, which included the replacement of $50,000 used from the reserve account for the water main on First Street. And you guys said, both Bobby and Stacy suggested that spreading that out to 2 years, which dropped the increase to $77. So why are we doing all this? If we just did this a year ago, you guys said it would be 2 years. And it was in the minutes from December 9th of 2024.
Thank you.
The increase, I know we were splitting up the reserve to 2 years. I don't believe we were waiting 2 years for the rate increase, because it was full intention the entire time that in another year and every year that there would be a small increase of some point. The problem being is that with the $88 seemed too much for most people in town, and the council made that decision to go to 71. Bobby and I simply gave our opinions on what could be done because they felt that it was too much. And if it was too much last year, then $88 would have been too much again this year. That's why we looked at changing the rate structure. We're not the only town that's looking at the increases and the hardships that it's putting on the community. The Montana League of Cities and Towns actually did a chart across most of the communities to find out what changes they were willing to make, what their rates were, and several of them are looking at changing the rate structures in lieu of raising. And it was a great idea. So we looked at what we could do with it, and this was the result.
Thank you, Stacy. Angela?
Angela Cook, 264 Avenue. My question on this part of it right here that you were talking about, Stacy. And I just lost my train of thought. My apologies. Shoot, what was I gonna ask on that? Oh darn, if it comes back to me, I'll let you know.
Please do. Anyone else? Any comments? Questions?
Oh, I remember now.
Go ahead, Angela. Stand it, please.
And
And
percentage of our accounts are past due on an average basis?
did you hear that, Stacy?
What percentage of our accounts are past due on an average basis?
Our water account. How many members of our community are struggling with their accounts?
Well, we've got 209 bills that go out, and Luann, it's probably only about 3%. And then we have those that are struggling just to pay what they can each month. Luann, would you say it's about 3% of the,
That
how
sounds
many
about
would you?
right.
Yeah,
3%. Thank you.
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian Eckenrod, 105 Second Avenue North. What happens if, so I'm all for this, Stacy, I think you did a great job on this. I don't really see how really anyone could be against this, because we're not technically raising the base rate at all. And we're promoting, I mean, if you look at the figures, why not just use 10,000 gallons a month when you're only paying $1.92 per extra 1,000 gallons? I mean, there's literally no incentive not to use water. So here's an interesting thing that I just thought of is, what if with this new structure, no one goes over those 4,000 gallons? So then we stay at our base rate, and that increase of, if we stay at $5 and 3,000 gallons, what if that 32% that uses over 3,000 gallons doesn't use over 3,000 anymore, and everyone stays under 3,000 gallons? Then we have an account, then we just stay at our base rate, which we didn't adjust.
Right?
So you don't
don't-
see any increase, correct, in revenue?
We did think about that. And when we're looking at the numbers up here on the screen for this last year, 3,000 gallons, 61% were under the 3,000. But these that were over, the 38% that were over the 3,000 gallons were usually over the 4,000 gallon as well.
Interesting.
David Papadopoulos, 504 East Avenue. Have we considered tiering the overage? So let's say you do, your first 2,000 gallons over is at $4, and your next 1,000 goes up to $7, and your next 1,000 after that goes up to $9. Is that a possibility?
Thank you.
I don't know how many people are in that range anyway.
I was trying to make it simple.
That's interesting, though.
It is a good thought.
Great.
Any other comments or questions?
Rebecca Tim, down there on Hartman. So I know the spigot at the, does that fit into things? Cause I know that it was like shut off this summer.
Is it metered?
No, it's up a well.
It's a well.
Oh, okay.
So well, okay, then why was that turned off?
I wasn't aware that it was off of a well, and I saw several campers pull up and fill their tanks from it. So we thought if that was city water, we did not want them to be getting free water.
Okay. So is that gonna be like standard next year?
In terms of
Turning it
getting
off
it shut off?
or like letting it be locked? It was locked.
Yeah. If it's well water, I don't see a problem with not having it locked. Council, do you have any comments on that? Thank you, Roger,
I don't know if
for
that'd be potable water.
and we should have a sign on
Yeah.
that. Okay, noted.
You get an extra arm, you don't bust.
I mean, if we can just have like test strips over there, cause I mean, kids fill their water bottles with it, or have, you know, some sort of drinking fountain at some point, I'm not saying roll it into this, but. Just wondering about that and considering it. The other idea is, what about, I don't know if this is possible or what all is entailed, it's an idea. If the water system needs to be self-funding, then can we bottle, market and sell the water?
Love to do that.
It's come up and was quickly,
Well, I think it needs to be a study. And I've asked at some of the conferences too, when Bo goes to a water conference, and definitely our water is so good. And there are lots of other places that bottle and sell water, so I don't see it out of the realm, but council,
I would
We have
advocate
talked
for
about
it, I would advocate for it, just, and anything else that could potentially become a GDP for the town of Clyde Park. I mean, cause we are such a small community, to Sean's point. I think that we need to come up with creative ways that are innovative and, that support this whole town. And so that we can take care of the 3%, while also not putting a whole lot of stress on those that do carry the town.
thank you. Anyone else? Comments or questions?
Yes. Carolee and Carolee. On that note, would we have a limit to how much we could sell so that it wasn't, if we're still having a shortage on water? Maybe we're not. Because I know that we've had a shortage in the past and we've had to ration usage of the water. So would we have a limit on how much could be sold because of that?
Are you talking in terms of bottling the water and selling it?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That would be something that would need to be explored as part of that idea. But
Okay.
let's keep focused on what we have proposed, the council is considering is this actual structure change to the rates. Thank you, Carolee. Anyone else? First call for comments. Second call for comments, Sean.
Just Sean, I really think David had some traction in his idea. I think the people that want to use the water, and I don't think they're gonna oppose paying for it, and I think those numbers, if they really want the water, 20, 30, 40 bucks to some people a month for nice lawns or whatever, I think David's right on track. If that way, if people don't wanna use it, great, but the people that do, I think they'd be willing to pay a premium. I mean, those numbers are still so cheap for water. I mean, you can't buy a coffee for that. You know, for 10,000 gallons would cost you what a coffee. So I think he's on to something. I like that idea.
I like that idea. The issue we would fall into legally right now is that I cannot reinvent the wheel at this point. When we had our resolution of intent, that rate change system was set up in that resolution of intent. I'm not sure that we can tier that at this point. It would have to happen next year.
Do the next go around.
Let's burn the place.
I do have one thing I need to read into the record. It was a public comment that was sent to us through the, by email. And this is from Wes and Penny Johnson at 415 Main Street West. To the Clyde Park City Council, why is it necessary to raise the current water rates? The town already has the highest rates in the state of Montana. Yes, there's been some growth, but there's also added wells and infrastructure to accommodate these issues. Considering the following changes as proposed as a percentage, reducing the number of gallons, 4,000 to 3,000, is a 25% increase in the cost to the homeowner. Reduction to 2,000 gallons is a 50% increase. There are too many that can't afford to water their property now. At what point do you simply force them out of their home? The larger pipe size could be commercial or at least the school property. 16,000 gallons to 12,800 is a 20% increase in the base cost. You do understand that it's the taxpayers of the school district that will have to pay for those increases to public property via their property taxes. Are you attempting to run business away or prevent new business from coming into town? Overage charge, 5 or 7 per 1,000 gallons. You don't mention what the base rate per gallon is, so you'll have to do the math on your end. But if in line with the rest of the numbers you project, I suspect it's going to be 20 to 25%. Just using previous numbers of about $53 as the base usage rate, the new rates are going to be pushing the minimum monthly cost just for water and no irrigation to about $66 a month. Or as we've heard, $85 per month is the current rate. If that is true, then with a 25% added increase, the minimum monthly rate is going to be over $100 a month. For those on wells and subject to the potential waste contamination problems from the increased septic issues in the town, the $19.43 jump to $23 is an 18% increase monthly for no service use at all. For many currently and in the past, being on the town water system wasn't an option. They were forced to drill wells simply because the city could not provide the necessary utilities for their homes. That lessened the burden on the then city citizens, thus a benefit for them at the expense of the well users. For that added expense, drilling costs, pump costs, casing costs, construction costs, and maintenance costs, the original rate was about $5 per month, then raised to $7.50 and promises of no further increases in the future. That didn't take long to get sucked into the city coffers, and then the rate was raised to the current $19.43 per month. Yep, guaranteed no further increases. Now, the well owners, still subject to their own costs, are looking at another increase under auspices of receiving fire protection. How many times can our homes burn down to cover the costs of a one-time fire that destroys the structure completely? But that's old news and argument, right? If you raise the rates as indicated and or proposed, what will the benefits that each and every one of the citizens will receive? Will those benefits weigh equally to offset the monthly costs the city is proposing? Will it be possible for everyone that lives, works, and retires in our city to afford not only enough water for our home uses, the outside lawns and the structures should a fire ignite within the city limits? And what of the homes that have wells and wish to sell their property? The current city ordinances require that the new owners must hook up to city water, which the city can't currently provide, at their own expense. Is the city now going to pay for the additional cost of digging a line, burying it, new curb stops to the property lines? Where are the proposed adjustments intended to ensure fairness among users? If these changes are as proposed are to accommodate new homes within the city limits, are the developers paying any of the costs associated with their proposed developments? If not, why not? Are they going to pay for laying the new pipe to new homes? If not, why not? Are they going to pay the cost of developing new streets, curbs, sidewalks, fire hydrants, ensure adequate resources to meet the needs of the new homes developments? If not, why not? Are they going to ensure that adequate septic water treatment is available for the new homeowners and protections of the wells within the city limits, both owned by the city and by the residents that were forced to drill and provide their own water systems? If not, why not? There's a potential for developers to make millions from the associated impact they will bring to our little community. Let them bear the costs up front and long term. If not, why not? If not, then any new developments will break and destroy the very people that created, built, served, and paid the price to live here today. Please don't hurry to get these rates and issues thoughtfully addressed. Lastly, you are spending your neighbor's money. Think about that. Can you afford the proposal? If not, or if it will be harder to meet your obligations, what makes you think your retired neighbor, some on disability, some simply do have the income to meet existing expenses, that is living on a minimum Social Security check each month? How are they going to afford them? Respectfully, Wesley and Penny Johnson. Okay. I'm not even sure where to start, but just wanted to put that on the record. Okay.
Most of those questions were answered tonight. The few that weren't, when we talk about the businesses, we actually have 4 lines in town that are not 3/4 inch. The school is one of them. The school pays a base rate on their 2-inch line. And they haven't come anywhere near their 23,000 gallons that they're allowed for that in years. And I think I printed that up for you the other day. The school is allowed 23,000 gallons, and this last month they used 11,905. The school's not going to be going up. The 3 other businesses in town, only one of them has gone over their allotted. The other 2 are below their allotted at this point.
Stand up, please, David. Say your
David
name.
Apples, 504 East Avenue. One of the very first comments about us having the highest water rates in the state, I believe you had an objection to that?
It's not close.
I was gonna say, I didn't think so, I can't imagine.
The
So,
highest monthly water rate in the state is in the town of Cascade. It's $134 per month.
For how many gallons?
That's their base rate.
Okay.
And we have a client. Their average monthly water bill is $346 a month. But this is a water district in a very rural section of Montana, and they use their water to actually water their cattle. So their groundwater is so bad that their only other option is to haul it. And compared to the price that they pay, hauling is exponentially more expensive. So all due respect to that gentleman.
Thank you.
And I don't believe that the base rate for the lots, wells, those that live in town that are not on town water, I don't believe that increased to 1943. That was in the 80s. I can't give you an exact date, but I'm pretty sure that's when that happened.
I thought it was important.
Okay, council, have you heard what you think you need to hear? Do you have any other questions of any of our participants or Stacy or Bo or anyone? Okay, all right, I'm officially closing the public comment period. So what's going to happen at this point is the council will continue to consider this. The final decision will be made next month. If you think of anything after this meeting, please send us an email, write it, leave it in the slot, whatever. Share your comments. We'll make sure that the council has those to consider. Okay, we're going to take another 1 minute or so stand up, and then we will start the regular meeting.
Next 2-hour meetings. We should be able to. So, are you gonna stay and present your stuff?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Does he know he has a time?
It's not over yet.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Can't throw that many.
That was a Jake and Pearl Audrey, matter of place, this big spring, I was put out about 15,000 gallons a day. Big guy, Pearl looked into the bottled water, and Harrington's told her that was really trying.
Stacy.
They like selling their water.
I say.
About shit, why didn't you get?
Like that, so much for doing.
Yeah, that was what I did.
Yeah, also
Fire water's not on that. Of course they do. They told her, you know. I'll tie you up to goddamn one, never do that.
They've offered that big spring of water out of Lisa, I wonder how they.
It's another question.
How they got it. Huh?
They got in on it.
So I don't know. Good to see you, obviously. Great job, Jesse. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Please,
See
I
you.
saw your hard work to Helena.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
For hosting.
Thank you.
It's like I said, I left
Anybody else
that
have to
card,
go
so
to
if
the
you have any
bathroom?
questions that, water, thoughts, or
How'd you like my text at 5:30?
things that I
I
might
was
be able to
asleep.
find out or unaware of.
My wife's like, at 5:30 in the morning, I'm like, well, they're not up,
They're not gonna get it.
yeah, take
Yeah.
care.
No, I sleep through it. No, my kids are probably gonna get a new car.
Like community.
Yep.
Well, if they're getting, if we're getting a lens, you get dinged really hard if it's anything 2010 or earlier. So, like, if you wanna like take a loan for a 2004 Pilot, it's like 9%.
Yeah,
You know,
It's ridiculous.
because he doesn't love us, cause it's so old, you know.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm calling this meeting back to order. Thank you, everybody. So, let us begin by. Okay,
Yes.
reminder, this meeting's being recorded. So let us all stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Justice.
Justice for all.
My God.
It's written right there.
Okay, all right. So, we will open a public comment period. This is for any items that are not on the agenda. Again, asking you to stand and, share your comments with us. If you could please try to keep it to about 3 minutes in length, that would be wonderful, especially since we are getting late. Is there anyone who would like to share any public comments with us, not related to agenda items? Second call for comment. Okay, third call for comment. Anybody online still with us who wishes to share a comment? Okay, I'm closing the public comment period on non-agenda items. You will have opportunity with various agenda items to speak. Minutes. Okay. Man, you wanna buzz through those?
This is the draft of minutes, Town of Clyde Park Council meeting October 8th, 2025. Call to order, Mayor Sydney Wiley called the regular meeting of the Town Council in Clyde Park to order at 7 p.m. on August 8th, 2025. Attendance, council members present, James Walsh, David Saracen, Teresa Sari, Brian Eckenrod, Sydney Wiley, Mayor, Stacy Mills, Clerk Treasurer, Bo Danish, CSO, Luann Barr, Deputy Clerk, Council Member absent, Roger Chandler. Audience members, Kathy Romy, Rainey Tominga, Tracy Fremont, Glenn Downer, Skip and Nancy McElhatton, Carla Williams, Becca Pinson, Sean Jones, Rebecca Tim, and Rachel Bunniger. Opening remarks. Mayor Wiley welcomed attendees and explained that due to the town's population now exceeding 300, as of October 1st, Montana law requires the recording and public posting of council meetings. This meeting was to be officially videoed and audio recorded. I pledge of allegiance, all present join the pledge of allegiance. Public comment on agenda items. Rachel Bunniger asked how many Montana towns have employees living out of state. Sean Jones discussed his pre-application for 203 Lakehurst Street, raising concerns about subdivision lot sizes, engineering requirements, and project costs. Councilwoman Teresa Sari clarified that subdivision timelines protect applicants and will be reviewed by the planning board. Councilman James Walsh suggested a review of the outlot size ordinance. Becca Pinson asked about a permit for a temporary carport and questioned striping on gravel roads. Approval of September minutes. Deputy Clerk Luann Barr read the September minutes correction. Holiday park contributions was $1,149 with an additional $350 from the Backroads Bike Group. Motion to approve the September minutes as corrected. Motion by James Walsh, second by Teresa Sari. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Mayor's report. Mayor Wiley reported attendance at the Montana League of Cities and Towns, October 15th to 16th, and the Montana Recreation and Parks meeting. She noted bear and moose sighting installations in town facilities and thanked town staff and officials for their public service. Department and committee reports. Bo Danish reported yield sign installations, Springboks route infiltration repairs, power bank purchases, playground repairs and handicap signage updates. Skunk traps were placed, flag lighting and alley trimming are in progress. Mayor Wiley explained coordination with the school's new flashing 15-minute per hour signs. Treasurer report, Stacy Mills. Utility billing September $17,152.86. Receipts $6,060. General checking balance $152,274. Debits $36,203.63. Credits $37,605.96. BMS Nuvei online payments to go live November 4th. Motion to approve treasurer's report and claims. Motion by Brian Eckenrod, second James Walsh. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Parks and Recreation, Mayor Wiley will apply for Crazy Mountain Ranch grant for this sports court and holiday park. Planning and zoning, Teresa Sari. Reviewed subdivision procedures, new tracking checklist, and upcoming planning board meeting on October 21st for Sunnyside Meadows subdivision. Discussion with planner Randy Carpenter about subdivision administration plans. Public comment, park usage and donations. Kathy Romy asked if the Bozeman Bike Group paid a park fee and voiced concerns over dangers and usage of Brackett Creek Road to get to Clyde Park. Mayor Wiley confirmed that they did ask council permission, donate and bring business to local stores, but do not pay a fee. Cemetery Board. Mayor Wiley recognized Marshall Leffingwell and other cemetery board members for their volunteer work in the Union Cemetery. Unfinished business. Water rate resolution number 481, intent to modify monthly water rate structure. Proposes reducing base gallons and increase overage rates. Motion to approve resolution of intent number 481. Motion by Brian Eckenrod, second Teresa Sari. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Public hearing set for November 12th, 2025. New business, feral cat complaints and animal ordinance review. Council reviewed complaints about feral cat trapping and enforcement of animal ordinances. Public input was received from Kathy Romy, Simone Hanson, Tracy Fremont, and others. CSO Danish explained procedures, legal authority, in coordination with Stafford Animal Shelter. Council directed staff to review and update the animal control ordinance, including registration requirements and notification protocols. Site permits, 504 East Avenue, lean-to addition with concrete footings, 403 Short Street, drainage and culvert installation within town right-of-way, both reviewed by CSO Danish and approved. Motion to approve both permits, motion by James Walsh, seconded David Sarazin. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Cemetery plot fee adjustment. Cemetery board requested an increase of plot fees from $50 to $150. Motion to approve the fee increase, motion by James Walsh, seconded Teresa Sari. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Proposed roundabout discussion. Roger Chandler's proposal for a roundabout was tabled until the November meeting pending councilman's presence, cost estimates and drawings. Motion to table discussion until November. Motion by Teresa Sari, seconded David Sarazin. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Adjournment, motion to adjourn the meeting, motion by James Walsh, second Brian Eckenrod. Vote all in favor, motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 9:55, and I have never read that much this late at
Nice.
night.
Is there any public comment on the meeting minutes? Yes, please.
Carl
Name,
Williams,
thank
204 Third Avenue South. According to your agenda in October, under the new business for site permits, the one at 504 East Avenue was not on there. Therefore, it should not have been voted on. Per advice from the attorney on December 9th, 2024, if it's not on the agenda, you can't vote on it due to the Montana right to open meetings.
The
site permit for the site permit for 504 East Avenue was not on your agenda, so therefore it should not have been voted on.
There wasn't anything voted.
Yeah, you voted on the site permit for
the lean.
504.
Oh, for the
East Avenue and 403 Short Street. Short Street was on the agenda, but the 504 East Avenue was not, so it should not have been voted on.
Looking in the drive right now to see at the last agenda that was submitted, if it was on there. Give me a second. What am I looking for?
I have it printed on this one on that.
504 East Avenue,
Yep.
lean to addition with concrete footings.
It's
Yeah.
on my copy.
It's not on the agenda that was on the website.
It was on the final version of the
So
agenda.
the final version is not being updated on the website or.
Noted.
Therefore.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
I will make sure to get that done.
Any other comments on the minutes? Council, any questions or comments or changes? Go ahead, James.
Yeah, that item that's incorrect, that, where there's a discrepancy between the final agenda and the agenda that
draft
got out
agenda.
to the public, right? Should we vote on that again? How do we reconcile that and make sure we're right?
Was it on the agenda that was sitting here when everybody came in?
Probably, because I made the change a couple of days before.
That one,
Did not have it on there.
Yeah.
The,
Cause I have.
the
the
agen-
website.
Okay, let's do this in order. Go ahead,
the
Stacy.
the agendas by law when posted are stated at the bottom. They are subject to change until the meeting. If this was a change that was added after I posted it on the website, it's my apologies, but that was on the agenda that was at the meeting.
No further action required. You seem to be questioning that, James?
yeah, I thought it had to be like a couple days ahead, right?
And the mayor can change,
3 days.
mayor can
Yeah.
change her to the agenda.
According to the attorney, Jonathan Hess, it said, in a meeting there we had, it said some items were passed in the November council meeting that were not on the agenda. You cannot vote on an issue without an agenda because of the Montana right to open meetings. Violating open meeting laws has severe legal consequences. So if you're gonna update your agenda, it also has to be done on the website also. Beforehand, because it has to be posted 48 hours in advance.
The mayor is allowed to add items to the agenda as seem fit. And there is no time limit on that. I will be sure to double check on that, Carla. thank you. Any other comments?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion made by Council Member Sorry,
You'll second them.
seconded by
Let's do it
Council Member
for
Chandler. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we are recognizing, I would like to recognize, with the congratulations to our community service officer, Bo Danish. She has completed and achieved the water operator certification, first step at least.
All right, Bob.
Correct. Good job. So we are fully on board there. Okay, announcements quickly. The BMS pay that you guys approved at a prior meeting is now online, up and running. I have used it myself. It's beautiful, easy. Stacy will go into that a little bit more in the treasurer's report. Shields Valley Christmas Fair, Festival of Trees, same as last year. Parade will be on Friday, November 29th. They'll take that route. They're requesting use of the town fire truck for Santa to ride in the parade. So we are working with Clyde Park Rural to provide a driver, an appropriate driver for the fire truck. And they've also, just like last year, they're gonna handle the traffic crossings on 89. They're gonna add more lights. They had a donation of, I forget, 30,000 lights from somebody, 3,000. So they're gonna have more trees lit in the park. And they're not running the business front decoration contest this year. They're putting efforts into other things.
Lights.
My attendance at the Montana League of Cities and Towns annual meeting, as usual, was extremely helpful, productive. I didn't want to go at first, and then the first three people that I spoke to were like such valuable information and contacts. All of the workshops that I attended were mind blowing. The best one was how AI is now being used on for cities and towns, and what a valuable resource it is in labor savings and accuracy, as long as the person using it knows how to, well, basically knows how to do it, how to,
Program.
and the resources for that are really coming up. And I have to say that Stacy has become quite good at using her AI friend to produce a lot of things that save a lot of time. Then there were warnings. I've shared them with her too, the things that they warn you about, and so on. The CSO Danish has completed an inventory of the fire hall, so I'll be sending that on to the attorney, who will then prepare a draft of the interlocal agreement with Clyde Park Rural. So we're making progress on that. Congratulations to our newly elected council members, Carol Amenrud and Joshua Cook. We'll be appointing a council member to fill the remaining open position. So swearing in ceremony will be at the December meeting. Animal and business license renewals are due by December 31st. Within the town limits are required to be licensed either as pets or permitted as livestock. Those who have recently registered their cats do not need to re-register them. Stay tuned. I'd like to plan a free pet portrait with registration at the town hall. So I'll be looking for someone to volunteer to be the photographer for that. Speed signs have been placed on First Street at both ends of the school reduced speed zone. We do want to add yellow striping in those zones, but we may not get to it this year because of the weather. At Glenn's Market, they're working on a new food resource center called the Back Alley Food Bank. some assistance with finishing the remodel would be helpful. Donations can be brought to the store, or monetary donations can be made at Bank of the Rockies. There's gonna be an account set up there. Mayor was approached by Park County Emergency Services Director Greg Coleman to seek permission to include the town in an application for the use of some remaining ARPA funds. This is a lightning round application process that's being submitted by a consulting firm to provide broadband access to the municipal office from an emergency services grant under the BEAD Act. It's a federal project to expand access to unserved and underserved areas with high-speed broadband. And then Glenn's Market, in conjunction with Crazies, are looking at planning a fundraiser for the park in January, called the Frosty Frolic. It would be out here on the street between the businesses, and music, chili, hot chocolate, dancing, street games, so on and so forth. We're discussing it. I know it's risky with the weather, but being discussed. A reminder that next Wednesday, the 19th, is a special meeting, which is the public hearing for Sunnyside Meadows subdivision. So that is being held as a separate meeting. And that would be noticed accordingly. Yes, we will need to have a quorum. Okay, yeah, that's all I have. That's enough. Department and committee reports, Bo.
I gave each of you, little excerpt of it. We were already talked about, needing to get a new work truck or town truck. With that, also the abysmal state that the plow truck is in, while I think I should be able to get through if need be, I don't know how much longer the thing's gonna hold out.
No, since that's on the agenda further, yeah, we'll address that when we get to that point. Thank you. Could you actually stand thank you.
The only thing I really have, nothing has changed. I've gotten some of the signage out. I got to put 3 yield signs on the west side of town still. I'll be working with Marshall to get the post for it, and then I have to secure the signage. Yesterday, I had happened across some carcasses that we left in the green boxes on the ground and within one of the vegetables. Now, mind you, I'm not from this part of town or the state for the matter, but looking over at it, due to the state of it, we already had some dogs that were chewing on the carcasses.
Sorry, they were my puppies. I don't even know.
But that just brings to it that I think that it comes from a health standard for it. So I put together what I have researched as far as Montana state and Park County laws. I did get a hold of the solid waste division head, who had instructed me that there's not much they can do, that it's been done this way for so long that they aren't going to pursue anything. I think that kind of arises a bit of issue for me, and the fact that as coming from a coroner background, doesn't matter if it's human or animal, you leave remains out for too long. I think that was successful that they waited until right before they came to collect the trash and put it there, but to just throw it on the ground, I think that that's a bit of a health issue, and it also seems to violate a lot of the laws that are put in, in place to protect people, including not leaving carcasses within a mile radius of people where they live. Obviously, if it's your property, you do as you wish, but that's your property, not somebody else's. So for the council to kind of look over, I don't know if there's anything you guys would suggest. My main suggestion is to maybe get with, the solid waste and seeing if they would provide a bin specifically for carcasses.
Yeah.
Other than just the bins that are there.
Yeah.
Well, they could have just put it in the green box.
They could have just tipped it in.
Yeah, I mean,
Little common sense here.
Yeah.
In this part of the world.
We supposed to sign on fence with the people.
Okay, let's stay in order.
Okay, but yeah, so that was my thing, like, I know you're supposed to have it bagged, Obviously, these weren't, I don't know how it's been done. I think it reflects bad upon hunting community, they just leave the remains everywhere. You know, during a certain season, I'm sure people are used to it, but should we really have to continue to be used for it? And if we're not gonna get help outside, maybe we need to think of something here in Clyde Park that we can do. If it's providing bags, maybe getting them to provide a bin, I think that's just the baseline. We need a dedicated bin for the time they can come purposes. That way, if that needs to be taken out before anything else, they can address it quicker. But I don't know how solid waste and how Park County wants to proceed with it. But just so you guys know, I gave you all the stuff that I've researched. Yes, kind of talk amongst yourselves with the community and see what their input is. And
How's water doing?
water's unchanged. It's still pristine. It's doing great. It's cleared all the checks I've done on it. It's cleared the past bacterial samples.
Flows are
No
still
change.
good? Flow rate?
Flows are better since I cleared out the roots. Still getting with Jesse, trying to find somebody to be able to maybe snake it. We were talking about getting cameras to be able to see just how bad it is and how deep it goes. And we'd like to still, if we're able to secure a contractor to come out here and take care of it, obviously it's old piping, we need somebody that's cautious. We want to get all of them done. That way it'll be another, who knows how long before it's needed to be addressed again. But I think clearing those out may increase the amount of water that we're having too, because just by clearing out those roots, it was about another 12 to 24 gallons per minute that we're getting.
Excellent. Does the council have any questions for Bo? Thank you, James.
I have a comment. TLC out of Bozeman's got a high pressure cutter equipment. I've used them for that before. It cuts stuff out of pipes, cuts roots and stuff out of pipes. Does pretty good
Do they have a
job.
camera?
They got a camera.
Yeah,
They have a
I'd
camera
say
that
so.
can run through
Yeah.
stuff and take a look.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
They're expensive, they're good.
The only other thing, after doing some more research, after Roger had made mention about the light being out on the flagpole. That thing is so far gone. We need to think of another option of, do you want to get one exactly like that? Or what do you guys want to have installed on there? There's been so many different types.
Somebody needs to contact the American Legion, they usually do it.
Well, can I make a comment on that? What's his name? OB was on the council when we had to replace that light. It would have cost us $300 to rent a machine and get the light and put it on top of the flagpole. So I got permission to get that solar powered one, and it was, I don't know how well it works in the winter, but that's the one I put on because we didn't want to spend $300.
One thing I did find, there were some that were on top that shine down. I actually like the one that I found here, but it is 200, said to give a 6-year warranty for it. But it's got the panel on it as well, but it's got the 3 lights and it shines up, so it's basically like a Star Wars lightsaber. That just highlights the actual flag up above in the middle of the night, but not distracting to people around it.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of problems and we put up that one light that. Cause it was shining too much light into a couple people's rooms.
Yeah. Oh, so that is an issue.
That's why I assume.
Yeah.
That's why this one, it just directly straight up into the flag.
I like that one.
Yeah, I want you to
Across the airport.
get that one.
Let's get that one.
That's all of it.
Okay. Standing, treasurer's report. Just forgot. Again.
Hi, Treasurer's Report, November 2025. Utility billing, in October, 207 were billed for 16,356.05. When I printed this report, last week, we had only received 6,975. It has increased since then. General checking, balance of the last statement was 152,274. Total debits 36,146. Total credits 27,309.94. Our ending balance last week was 143,437.87. Are there any questions as far as the claims details?
Look like you're supposed to.
No. Did you? I noticed that too.
Okay,
Okay. And I'm excited to say that our BMS pay is 80% online. We don't have the animal business license and all that switched over from our other online payment system. You can still pay for your business and animal license online through the system that we have. I'm writing the pages for the website to set up for the current system. So that transfer will happen this month. But the BMS pay, as far as our bills go, is online, and I will share a screen. Maybe. Sorry, guys. So many screens, so many screens. Okay, so when you go, you can now pay your bill online, and when you go onto the website, you'll see this little pay water bill section right there. When you click on that, Zoom doesn't scoot over for me. I have to do it separate each time. Sorry. It will take you to this citizens portal page. It'll take you up here. You'll notice that the logo, the town of Clyde Park, your login, and you can do the quick pay without having to register and become logged in. You can click on the quick pay. Your web ID will be on your card, your bill card, or you can call Luann or email us and we'll give you your web ID and your zip code. And that will give you the opportunity to simply pay your bill without registering for an account. If you choose to register for an account, I'm using the office portal right now to show you, because I couldn't get online to do it in somebody's account. This is the mayor's. Hi, Mayor, here's your portal. You will have the abilities to see your account details, your account history, your settings, your auto pay, your text to pay, any notes. Well, the notes will be on ours, and then you have your payment methods. But you're allowed to see your bill. I'm looking, I may not be able to get to it from here, Mayor, to see your invoice.
on the invoice, it shows you what your previous month's usage was, the current month's usage, and the difference. Your gallons.
Mhm.
And then you get emailed a receipt, and I set up for auto pay. I'm really excited
Yeah.
to not even think about it anymore.
We tried really hard to get it to where I could log into someone's account and actually show you the account, but we couldn't get it to log in with everything else going on. So
None of us
But
could
if-
remember our password.
I was trying to be nice about it. So the bottom line is, do I?
Excuse me 1 second. I just want to answer Carolee's question. It's the town website, clydeparkmt.net. Go ahead, Stacy.
Oh, no, that's great. You saw that. Okay. So if anybody needs their web IDs, simply call Luann or email us, but it will be printed on the phone bill. And I'm excited, guys, that everybody's able to see
Water bill.
Yeah.
water bills.
This is a tremendous cost savings too, in having this ability to pay online.
And I love the text to pay. That's what I do, so.
There is a difference, if it's okay if I mention.
Yes, please.
There's the you can do ACH, which is through your checking account, or you could do the credit card. The credit card is 3% fee, ACH is $1.90. So you could, you know. So, and then you can pick which, how you wanna.
Okay,
And I'm done.
any other questions, comments? For treasurer? All right, can we move?
I
Yes,
do.
go ahead.
I have one. Yeah. What about debit? Is that the same as a credit card?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report and claim warrants?
I move we approve the treasury report and claim warrant.
Thank you, moved by Counselor Chandler,
I'll second that.
seconded by Counselor Eckenrod, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion passes, thank you all. Okay, any standing committee reports?
I have.
Okay, and then Teresa, planning, zoning, subdivision?
Yes, I have the updated reports because I remember something else.
Thank you.
And there's, thank you. Stacy, it's on the drive, so you should be able to see it. Okay, really quick, that Jacobson subdivision that was being done on 4th Street. It may not need to be a subdivision, according to the planner's office. It could just be simply a boundary adjustment. But they're holding that off until they get a surveyor. They're having trouble getting a surveyor. The surveyors are really busy right now. The review of the Sunnyside Meadows subdivision went really well. The planning board suggests to the council that we accept the preliminary plat. We made a motion with a few changes. The changes are here on the thing. We have to do simple things like they need to have written documentation from Clyde Park Rural Fire Department. They will provide that service. We're still trying to get that agreement with them. And I don't know so we need to get that done.
That's one
Jeff
job.
Brown.
Oh, okay.
Findings, fact C, they needed to just change some of the wording. Law enforcement is being provided by Park County Sheriff, and the fire department protections being by Clyde Park Rural Fire District. Oh, that's still typed up wrong. No, that's right. Okay, sorry, I've been sick.
Okay, would you like me to read it?
Yeah, number 3.
Okay, number 3, Jerry Grabank is providing training through the League of Cities and Towns.
He was previously with Great West.
Yeah, he was with Great West, but now he's gone to the League. In reference to the question regarding hiring Great West as a subdivision administrator, we are not hiring the engineering firm. We are hiring the planning department. They are not redoing the work. So that's just a clarification there. Number 5, the August minutes are available to view.
To bring in, I'm sorry.
August minutes.
My August minutes. Planning board.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
And 6, potentially 3 vacancies on the planning board at the end of December, 2 for certain, potentially 3. So give it some thought, please. Anyone else?
He was on this before.
Council, any comments or questions on the planning board report?
Oh, I'm sorry. I do
Go
have
ahead.
one thing. This thing that's in your packet right now. We need this on Wednesday.
Okay.
This is actually for next Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, cemetery board meeting. November 6th. Marshall Leffingwell called the meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. Let me just say, council, any other questions? Anybody in the audience, questions on planning board? Okay, thank you. Present were Roy Davis, Bill and Lori Saracen, Don and Barb Elliott, and Mayor Sidney Wiley. Dolores Davis was absent. Lori read the minutes for the October 6th meeting. Bill moved to approve the minutes and Roy seconded, motion carried. Old business, the highway sign. Roy did not have a chance to contact anyone about the sign. Bill and Lori talked to J.R. Pierce, the ag ed teacher at the school. After hearing the idea, stated that the students would be able to make the sign. The FFA would donate the metal. He would have them come up with a mock-up of maybe 3 different ideas and email them to Lori. She will share them with the board members when she gets them. We can change whatever we choose. Once we choose, they will make the sign. Roy moved to approve having the FFA make the sign and Bill seconded. This is to direct people to the cemetery off of Highway 89. And Bruce Arthun is allowing us to put the sign on his land there. Crazy Mountain Ranch grant, Bill reported that the application was sent to Leslie Peterson and she replied that she would let us know around mid-November. Barb reported on the Park County Foundation. Barb talked to Kiva Ward and they are working on their new version of a letter of intent for interested entities to use. Once we get it, Barb will fill it out. If we are approved to apply, we will need to get together to complete the application. Marcia talked to Goose Ridge Monuments about coming to add names to the Veterans Memorial Monument. She was told that it would cost $100 per veteran to add their name. We will need to supply them with the name, service rank, and war, and special words if there's room. If given the information early enough, they will plan to come over and add the names before Memorial Day weekend. It was discussed about the price, but no change was suggested. Mayor Wiley stated that the CD has been opened at the bank. It's a 4-month CD. It will be up sometime the 1st of February. Roy reported for the Catholic part of the cemetery. They have created a tentative copy of the Catholic side for grave sites. They designated 3 sections, set the plot size to 4 by 11, put and marked off access areas between the sections and around the northwest and south perimeter. More work will continue. New business, burials. Don Oberquell contacted Marcia about burying a brother next June. She told him to contact the town next spring to give them a date so the grave can be marked. Roy talked about the wreaths across America. The American Legion members will all go out the same date and time across the country and place wreaths on veterans' headstones that have been purchased by a family member online. Barb suggested that we begin looking forward to getting some younger members on the board. We are all in a 2-year term. Discussion was held that we should be encouraging and contacting persons we think may be interested in helping on committees or being a member of the board. She also suggested doing a walk around the cemetery and people could come and participate in the event. Marcia suggested adding Sean Jones to help, maybe donate, get the road in better shape. Bill may try to attend the commissioner coffee time at Crazy's November 7th to ask about road repair and maintenance to the cemetery. There was a question about when the new cost for cemetery plots should begin. It was understood that it began when the town council approved at the October meeting. Therefore, the cost of $150 per plot will begin immediately. The town clerk was then informed of this change. The new town council member will join us in January. The next meeting is scheduled for January 7th, 2026 at 9 a.m. at the town hall. Roy moved to adjourn, Bill seconded, motion carried, and it adjourned at 10:13 a.m. Any questions, anybody? They're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, they are.
It's really, really good. Okay. All right, solid waste, Dave, you got anything to update us
No,
on?
just, we're trying to get compactors, and with compactor, we're trying to maybe combine some sites, but with the compactor. A lot of things that are being thrown away down here shouldn't be thrown way down here, but with the compactor, we can, do so many more things with like mattresses and furniture and stuff like that. And with that would come a person that will be on site.
Oh, wow.
So it takes away a lot of the, problems, and a way to educate the public on what they can and cannot bring,
So we wouldn't be working the compactor?
Yeah, you won't be working,
Oh.
someone else will be. And it should be. I mean, as far as I think Chico, we wanna get that one in as fast as, just a kind of a prototype. Because there's so much garbage that gets spread across Immigrant and all that area, and with the compactor would totally take care of that problem, so.
Yeah,
that's-
it flows across the field.
Yeah. And plus, there's a lot more grizzly bear habitat that way, and we can get funding right through with the grizzly bear to buy the compactors and stuff.
Are they talking about any kind of timeline?
Not yet, I think we'd like to get the one up at Chico as soon as we can. And it's probably within a year to get certain grant money.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
Is there any way they can unlock the walk-through gate on Sunday down there?
I know,
Well-
that's a convenient day to throw out trash.
I think it's a bear, what they're looking at is that a bear issue, even though.
This time of year, they lock it. Every other time of year it's unlocked, I
I think
think.
we'll still open all week.
Really?
Yeah, I've been going.
They don't have no bears up there, I just kidding.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to live up there either.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Counselor Saracen. Moving on, unfinished business. This was from last month, the council action request, the roundabout, Counselor Chandler. Do
I
you
didn't
have
get a chance.
other
to look
details?
up.
Okay,
I'll have it next month.
okay, all right, so,
Make a motion to
table until next
until
month's meeting.
December.
Thank you for the motion. Seconded, all in favor?
Hi.
None opposed? Okay, new business. Council action request by Councilor Roger Chandler, recall resolution. This is to discuss and review the town codes and the MCA codes to determine if a resolution and amendment to the ordinances is necessary. You will see in your packet both the action request that Councilor Chandler put in, and then the MCA. You got it there.
Yes.
Yep, and so basically, thank you. Basically, our town codes do address it because it references it to the MCA. And then you can see all the details about the MCA. So Councilor Chandler, what would you like to address with that?
I just remember we brought that up back in the days when we couldn't get her sorry ass out of here.
Yeah,
So we brought it up and then we got busy doing everything else. Because when them meetings used to start, first thing I'd ask her is, when the hell are you leaving? You wouldn't do it.
yeah, it looked to me like we could do it.
We can do it.
We can do it.
You just have to get a certain number of people to sign a petition.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a
Yeah, we
very
just couldn't
low
find-
number.
I just
Yeah.
couldn't find it, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I wanted to know is make sure we were covered.
Yeah, it is, I believe so, unless anybody, and it has, but then you see it has a whole series of steps that need to be
Yeah.
taken.
you just gotta follow.
Ultimately, it comes to a special election, which the town pays for, and then it's the electors that would have the final say.
But, you know, back in the days of Alice, we would have impeached her. But, you know. Nobody got around, nobody could do it. They said you couldn't do it.
Mm, it was there at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
but, Yeah,
But that was Susan Wardle for those town.
The other attorney. didn't-
Oh, back then.
Yeah, for old Alice were.
is there,
That's funny.
council, is there any other discussion, comments?
Does this satisfy you? Okay.
Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. Anybody have any public comment on that? Second call? Third call? All right, so, so this is, I guess, just non-action.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, moving along, employee wages, this was, the next action form, which was to make sure that the employees' paychecks are listed in the claim warrants. That information is made available and it is in the claim warrants this time. Mr. Chandler, is there any other?
No, it's just,
Thought about
you know, back in the days of Jeremiah, you got to where he wasn't showing where the money was going.
Mm-hmm,
We're put here by the people to keep an eye on the money.
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
And the council needs to know where every check is broke to,
mm-hmm,
and it has to be understood.
mm-hmm.
That's why I put it in there, because last two meetings, the employees' wages weren't listed in the,
Yes,
and now they
Stacy,
have to be, every check has to be written. We have to know where the money is.
right, right.
It ain't that we don't trust you, but we don't trust you.
Yes,
It looked good
Stacy
this month.
did
Yeah.
provide, she
It
did
did.
provide the information
It did.
that time. It was an oversight, but it
Thank
is
you.
now corrected.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Any other comments or questions from council regarding this?
Is Stacy still on?
Stacy, are you still there? Say something so you pop on the screen
Yes,
again.
I'm still here.
Thank you.
You
Okay,
can't see me?
anybody, public comment, anybody have any questions or comments about that? Second call, third call, all right. Any action that, council you'd like to take on that? Okay. Next one is, the plow truck. Roger had, Counselor Chandler had a, opportunity come up with a, specific, plow truck and, so go ahead, Mr.
It
Chandler.
was a 2011 Ford. Got a Cummins. 6BT, it's got an Allison 25 transmission, it's about the best Allison you can get, automatic, push button. It's 40,000 miles on, 13,300 pound front end, 23,000 pound rear axle, power steering, air brakes, air conditioning. It's got a 4-way plow, 2-way sander, you can sand out the back or off the side. And you can take the sand, you can use it as a dump truck also.
Dumb.
Yeah, it's got 38, around 40,000 miles on, we had 2 of them. They're ex-Billings municipal trucks, so they've had a hell of a good maintenance program.
You wanna, just keep the screen awake.
$38,000.
Then there's, Bo was proposing is more of a dual, did you read this? Did you read this?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on, sorry. Can we discuss?
We will discuss.
Pickup plow, we're outgunned.
We will discuss, just hang on. Bo, would you like to make your, to explain that from your, what you did there?
Bit, we have just an excess of redundant equipment or equipment that isn't used at a certain time. That is sitting there and generally would have to have more costs due to disrepair and being left out for so long. So my proposal was, as opposed to having multiple specialty vehicles, that we get one that is good enough to handle pretty much everything we need to and modulated equipment to be able to attach and detach from.
Thank you.
I had mentioned to the mayor, Stacy, before we talked about looking for a new vehicle. As an example, I was able to find a 2017 Chevy 2500, a 24.5 or 2500 total. And it was around 41, if I'm not mistaken, on mileage, which is pretty good for a work truck, I think. Anyway, I had a dealership here in Bozeman. There are options for a salt spreader that you can actually attach to the bumper. They weigh about 200 pounds.
We got a perfectly good sander.
Hang on, Roger, let him finish.
Sorry.
Don't interrupt, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
With that, to be able to take it off, put it down, so on and so forth. And a hydraulic rig for the plow that you drive up to, it attaches to itself and it reattaches, so we can drop it off in the workshop or in the somewhere so it doesn't get rusted. And you can have the truck just as a normal truck or as a plow truck if you need it. Just something modular, which was my suggestion on that as well.
You're getting rid of 2 vehicles, but you can one. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, council, open for discussion.
Sure, I got some
Please be-
input. I'm pretty sure if we get another medium or light duty vehicle, we'll burn up that transmission in about 5 years and it'll be toast again.
Thank you, James.
I know nothing about vehicles, so I need to go on, you guys tell us.
I know our town pickups. Good. Yeah, it's only half ton anyhow, yeah. Yeah.
Gas.
Hmm?
Yeah, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
gas.
gas or.
We got Chevy's a gas too,
Yeah, Chevy,
yeah, but
which I'm not opposed to.
it'd be heavier. You just, plow truck you got's pretty, about had it. As far as the sander for $3,000, we can put 4 posts and a beam across and raise it up with a come along, that sander's good. We don't need to be spending money on that.
It's just a spreader.
Yeah, that's the thing, you can use salt sand here, the salt on the road don't give you nothing when it's ice.
Yeah.
So how did the, what are your thoughts on having a dual purpose truck or 2 separate trucks?
Well, one thing, you know, like last year, Matt can plow the whole town in 4 hours with the grader when we get really buried. But that's an expense. Cause pickup trying to plow town. You're gonna put 10, 11 hours in truck by the time you plow this whole damn town with the pickup. You've been there, Sean.
We'll get to public comments in a moment.
How's the town? I haven't been in a little while. I mean, is that thing has had some issues as well, right? So we could get rid of the town pickup. We get rid of the plow truck, which is basically, it's gone already. And we replaced both of those, right? So now basically Bo has a town truck. And then we also have this, cause when we had a bunch of problems with that plow too. I mean, Bob, I remember we were getting parts welded and. So.
Spent half a day welding it.
Then Roger was, well, yeah, there was just, it was like one thing after another with that old plow. I mean, it makes sense to me.
You have 2 trucks?
No, 1 truck. I mean, I love that giant dump truck. I think it's awesome, but.
I don't even know where to store it.
Yeah, if you went with 1 truck, I'd rather see a 1 ton. The 3/4 tons
And not 3.
aren't enough, for especially plowing snow.
Let's open it up to some public comment.
Okay.
You were first. Please stand, say your name.
David Papadopoulos, 504 East Avenue. A couple things, I guess. One, 2 trucks, you extend the life of both of them, right? But again, one is gonna, the big truck is gonna get used in the winter and, very occasionally otherwise. It sounds like a 1 ton would be a good idea. The other thing is, do you have a special license to drive the big truck?
Yeah, it'd be,
CDL.
you'd have to have a class B. But that truck can also be used as a regular truck in the summertime. I mean, we haul road mix away. It's regular dump truck. It's kind of there were 2 of them. Winifred bought the other one already.
Other public comments? Glenn?
Understand, going down our 306 East Avenue. I used to go to the car auctions, quite big buildings. And anytime a 3/4 ton pickup comes through the car auction, it's had a snow plow, it knocks the price down like 25%. 3/4 ton just doesn't quite hold up.
Thank you for your comment, Sean.
Sean Jones. That was my business for 30 years. So we plowed everything from Bridger Bowl to the end of Bozeman for 30 years. There's a reason everybody runs pickup trucks with plows on them, because how fast you can do it, how fast you can get from place to place. If it were me buying it, I wouldn't hesitate. All our trucks were 3/4 trucks. You just, you turn up your torsion arms in the front to handle the plow in the winter. You turn them down in the summer. The cost of the 1 ton over the 3/4 ton, you can do things to the front end, just put different springs, whatever. You can do it cheaper to a 3/4. So we had all 3/4 tons. And Roger's exactly right. The sander is a great sander. It's what you need. So that a truck, the one thing you need to do is you need to buy a Boss plow. I sold the city that truck and plow back win. But Boss Plow's the only way to go. Last one I bought, I've had for 8 years. I've never done anything to it. So buy a Boss Plow, buy a V plow, so you can scoop it. The challenge is right now, you're trying to move all this stone plow around Main Street. You're trying to do it with an angle plow. If you could scoop that snow and move it and push it where you want and clean driveways off. So I would do a three-quarter ton truck, put sander in it, put a Boss V plow on it, a 9'6" plow, and you will be happy as a lark.
Gas or diesel?
That's one of those, we ran all diesels, but you're gonna pay a lot. You're gonna pay another $10,000 for diesel and you're gonna pay more for maintenance. If you get a gas truck, it's not like you guys are driving to Bozeman every day. So if you get a gas truck with a larger motor, you'll be fine too.
Yeah, this was a 6-over that throw these.
Sean, did you, oh, sorry, Cindy.
Yeah, go ahead.
What about the gas versus diesel if, I mean, this isn't gonna be just a plow truck. So that would be maybe one for Bo's recommendation is, I mean, he's gonna be driving this all summer too. So would you, I mean, is there anybody have anything gas versus diesel there? I mean, does that outweigh the fact that he's gonna be taking water samples and going to the reservoir? I mean, does he wanna be firing that diesel the whole time and more maintenance? I don't. Is there any one way or another that way?
You get longevity, but you pay more. It's a balance, but I probably, if I had to do it, I'd probably look for a larger, I'd probably go gas.
Yeah.
With a bigger motor, but the Boss plow is your key. Don't go get a cheaper Western or anything like that.
Well, he's got a Boss V right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the poly one, isn't it?
Yeah, this one's poly.
Oh. I think you want the.
It's steel.
It's steel. Yeah, cause then we could do stuff with it.
Okay.
This is getting.
Rebecca Tim Hartman. I just, last year, I was snowed in a couple times and I just wanna make sure that like. The corners of town, the edges of town are also cared for. And I know there were a lot of issues. I'm glad we're, getting new equipment. I wholeheartedly advocate for it. I like when snow happens, I think that we need to like. Get it out. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other comments?
Oh, I know what my comment was. So.
Please stand. Say your name.
David, pop it out. It's 504 East Avenue. I know last season when you were running the sander, Roger, had issues with, the sand mix chunking up in the back and you'd have to go back. Is there anything we can do to?
Already did it.
No, you already did it? What did you?
Yeah, right before we quit last year, I took it over to the house, took the torch and cut a bunch of that V out. It was in the middle, so now the sand falls.
Okay, well, so that's not gonna happen.
No.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah, but that bulb used a couple, 2-3 times instead of work on it.
Okay.
okay, council, so this is potential action to approve the purchase of either the proposed vehicle or consider other options. Is
Do we have to
there-
make a decision
is there any
tonight,
other-
or do we?
That's up to you. That's up to you. If you want
I
to make a
think we
decision
need to-
tonight, if you want to table it till date certain.
Let's table it till next meeting, kind of take a look. We gotta find out what the price of the steel plow is.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there,
I'd be more than happy to work with Bo. There's. Sometimes there's really nice used plows out there, and if they're Boss, you can consider that. And just to kind of look at that whole plow truck combination, I'd be more than happy to like look at it within.
Well, I'd be
Awesome.
spoiled.
I mean, I don't need to, I'm not trying to
No,
put
no,
myself
much appreciated.
in someone's business. but-
exchange numbers?
but-
Yeah.
That'd be good. You know, if you wanna look at it, I don't think we need to jump on the first pick if we see your.
Right.
Is there any wait, is there any thought about having can we do a special? I don't wanna run into Christmas and we're trying to find a truck and a plow, you know, like, I mean, maybe we'll be okay, but maybe we won't, and so. Like, what if we came across a plow and a truck and it was like this, Bo and Sean and Roger, and was like, this is a go. Can we have a special meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes.
That's all I'd like to do. If something comes up that we need to pull the trigger, then I think we should pull the trigger. Bo can get a place to park the plow, get accustomed to it, be ready.
We also need to consider cost, financing, or cash out of pocket, things of that nature.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy.
I do know if you get, Sean, maybe you can talk to this. When I was at Midwest, for instance, I'm not saying buy a plow there, but they did offer Clyde Park Town
Discount.
options, you know, if you're a municipality.
Awesome.
I don't know what those options are or if they're worth it, but it's out there.
Good to know. Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, then may I have a motion to table this until
Further notice?
further? No,
Yeah, would that be it?
no, actually, I don't think we need to motion it. These guys will work on it. When you come up with an option, we will reach out and go from there.
I'll
Thank
just
you.
add that I really have no proclivity as to whatever you guys decide is better. I'm not from Montana. I did go through Wyoming for the last 3 years with some heavy snow and things, so I defer to you guys as.
So we would wait, and that we would want to have some options presented, so that's where you guys with your expertise could really help us.
In the
So
next-
appreciate that.
In the next couple weeks.
We're feeling a little pressed, yes, for time. Okay. All right, thank you. Next, council action request in-town camping. Is, Counselor Chandler, is this different than we had talked about, in the park? This sounds like it's more town-wide.
Bozeman outlawed in-town camping.
Yeah.
Everybody that used to live over there at Winco or behind Applebee's, they all had to move on.
Yeah.
And White Sulphur brought it up, they're doing something about, you know, the campers, and I think it'd be a wise move for us, cause we're closer to Bozeman to White Sulphur. You ain't gonna, you know. I
Probably
don't
get a
think we're gonna
copy
be
of their
where they're
ordinance.
building fences in our streets.
Do you guys, yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Counselor, sorry.
I would like to make a motion that we put this on go back to committee and have it on our December agenda.
Stacy's got it.
Go ahead, Stacy.
We already have an ordinance against camping on the streets in Clyde Park. Camping's only allowed on private property in campers, and it's for a limited amount of time. I can research that ordinance and bring it back to you.
Thank you.
So do we need to motion it?
I think what I would like to suggest is that we have this studied by our new council and determine whether it is an ordinance or ordinance needs to be changed. Because
Stacy brings it up, it's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
We just need to have ourselves covered.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone, any of you guys want to make any comment for consideration going forward on that?
Well, I was thinking if I acquire a homeless girlfriend,
Yeah,
would this affect my household so much if she couldn't camp around town?
you'd have to have her on your property.
Besides that, there's gonna be money involved.
Just move her into the bus.
That's
Okay.
gonna cost me a hardship.
True.
Any other comments or questions?
Let's keep it clean.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that will be referred to
We'll look at the ordinance next month. Or no?
yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, next, finally. Sean Jones. Mr. Jones, would you like to give us? Okay, so I need to just preface this with, in order to go through the subdivision review process, this is a presentation to the council. There is not a decision or action that needs to be taken at this point. It is simply to follow the rules of going through the subdivision review. And so Sean is here to give you just, information about the application and what's being done there. So I turn it over to
I'm
you.
gonna make this as quick as possible because I know you guys are ready to bed. So let me just burn through this. We can talk about the details of this later. Most of these things don't matter. I think you guys saw what we were intending to do. So.
This was in the packet, correct? Sorry to interrupt. I think you guys.
Not this one. Oh,
Okay.
wait.
Yeah, I mean, I've got enough for.
Is
Yeah.
this 203?
Yes, this
Okay,
is
yeah,
203,
it's
if that
right
was
here.
first.
Yeah, the packet's right here.
I've got it in
Oh,
mind.
okay.
The downside is the engineering company, until we can get it figured out, everything's kind of up in the air, right? So we're hoping to take that 2.5 acres, the existing house that's there, that will be. When you go through minor subdivision review, that limits you to 5 lots or less, which is what we have to go through. So the existing house that's there will be 1 lot, and then we would take the balance of the property and turn that into 4 lots. Everything will run through its course with minor subdivision review. The challenge that I have, and I'd like to again approach you guys and at least get you, hopefully you guys would talk about, not just for me, but in general, is that 20,000 acre rule for outlots. Again, just super quick. My thoughts when I see this is any other lot in town that's been historically platted, it's 10,000. So to me, I sit there and go, why the two, and I know you had nothing to do with this, but why the two different, I just think a consistent approach for everybody. You may be, when they historically did outlots versus lots in town, who knows why they did them? There's no reason. If you're lucky enough that you bought land and it's in lots, well, then you have a bonus. If you're not, then it's gonna cost you a lot of money to do anything for you or your family or anyway. So I would hope you would look at that. The other thing, just real quick, I just want to mention about that. I think the biggest thing I have towards it is when they did this, whether that was 10 years ago or whatever, cost of land was just totally different. So now, as we all know, you could have maybe bought a 1/2 acre back then, 1 acre, whatever. Now, to make things affordable, I think at 10,000, I mean, great, if you can get a 20,000 acre lot, fine. But a 10,000 acre, if it follows sanitation review, you can start out, you can build a decent home, on that. It's a start.
Square foot.
Square foot.
Like what?
Yes.
20,000 acres, huge.
Start. So, and then, the other thing is as the town, I would say, again, you go back to that, you put larger lot sizes, you want more homes hooking up to this water system. It's, if you had a 20 acres of annexed land around you and unlimited lots, then it's a different story. But with limited lots that can be developed in Clyde Park anyway, that's your revenue source. Again, that's not for me to say, that's your guys' deal. The challenge with mine is because this house is right there and I can't change that. Right now, we have the other 4 lots at just under 20,000 square feet. And the engineering company has tried to work this to where we can get to that 20. And it's almost not possible.
Is it because of the not having the appropriate distance?
Yeah, it's because of where the drain field and where the existing drain field is for this house. And just being able to have enough setback for this house, you know, without building something 10 feet from you. So in my mind, I'm sitting here looking at that and, you know, this is like these 4 lots are like 19,000 square feet. I mean, it's a wonderful lot. It's almost what it is, but it falls right under it and it's like, you know, it's challenging.
Yeah.
And the downside is the whole intent of this was to bring affordable housing. Well, now I scale this back, you know, not only against, not your guys' problem, but going through minor subdivision review, the cost of that, then you drop this from 5 to 4, it changes the whole cost model
Well, I don't know where a
significantly.
1,000 feet, wouldn't make a lot of difference on that big of a lot anyway.
So 0.24 acres is how much? How many square feet?
Well, under 20, right?
Oh.
Cause 20,000 square feet is about half an acre, correct?
Yeah, an acre's like 43,000
So was it you
something.
about 5? I mean,
What's
5,
that?
like city lots, are you about 5, 4.5, 5? On these?
Well, these are outlots.
Yeah, they're not platted at all.
Oh, they're not platted.
Yeah, they're not platted.
It's tough to
Now.
reduce that.
But they'd be,
Well, what would
they'd be almost 6 lots, cause 10,000 feet is 3 lots.
Well, so this next thing I'm gonna talk about, those 3 lots,
Yes.
they're 25 by 140s. Those 3 lots come out to be 10,500 square feet for 3
Right.
lots. So yeah, so this would be around 6 lots,
A little less.
each of these
Each
are,
floor size.
they're, you know.
So
they're-
it's not gonna be high density unless we put condos in.
No, and then that brings up another thing. I mean, if you talk about density and all that, there's nothing stopping me from putting an apartment building on them. And then you have way more density, you know what I'm saying? So the rule's kind of funny. In the sense of,
Yeah, I personally
You know,
can't see where
but-
1,000 feet on a lot that big's gonna make a whole lot of difference.
The only difference it's gonna make is precedence. Cause then people are going to,
Right, we just change the ordinance and bring that up to a vote.
I don't know if we can, because I think those are in MCA code. The
No,
10,000.
the definition of outlaws.
the ability for the town to assign the size of lots is given, our authority is given by the MCA. But they don't define in municipalities what that is.
Okay.
And I remember John Hess saying the issue with outlots, I think what Sean was just saying was the fact that they were unplatted. So once you platted them, do they not become outlots anymore?
Oh, that's a good.
yeah, that's a good question. And so, if we could, I don't wanna drill you tonight on this. Everybody knows the challenge or the, you know, the ask. We've done the survey on the 4 corners, so to speak. So now we're starting to do the preliminary plat, which requires us to divide the interior. So that's my next step. So the engineering company is holding up, so I don't know, I realize it's probably something you gotta work through, but I was hoping maybe at the next meeting, maybe we could figure out how to, I just gotta know how to proceed. So
you're not ready to turn your application into our planning board yet? Excuse me, our administrator yet? You're still working on this?
well, I mean, I turned the application in.
Right. So today I thought you were ready to go and that we were gonna, once you came and described this to us, the next step was to turn that into our planner. And then that starts off the 45 days. But if this is in question,
Oh, then I
About
would
the
not
size.
be ready,
not
yeah.
ready.
Okay,
I mean, we're still
yeah.
working through a few of the,
So just so I understand, these are going to be substandard by the terms of the codes. So in order to allow you to do this, what we are going to have to look at is
Variance.
a variance, yeah.
It's 18,259 feet according to Google.
I mean, I would favor, to be honest with you, to me, this isn't a Sean Jones thing. This is anybody in the city.
Yeah.
And if 10,000 square feet is good for the same, for all the other lots, why would it not be for an outlot?
And that's a
Yeah,
good question,
we
because it's
don't
gotta
know.
be something historical that.
Well,
you know,
and
we
it,
don't
back then, I think that they just kind of, that's a lot of years ago they did that, and I don't think the land prices were, I just think there was probably,
I
well,
think they were trying to measure him.
I'm guessing, but would it be
Surveyors
nice to
were,
just have a consistent ordinance that you need 10,000 square feet?
They broke their pave.
Okay.
But anyway.
So-
So that's the only thing with this that I'm really right now.
But it feels to me, excuse me, I'm sorry, but two different issues, and one of those is if you want to proceed on this, we are gonna have to find a way to make it work for you, correct? So it looks like you can't get to the 20,000 per lot here, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then the other issue is the more grand scheme thing that you are talking about, where we should just look at how this, goes forward for other instances. So in terms of this, though, to get you moving forward, we're gonna have to look at how we do that. And that we can potentially come to by next meeting. I think, council, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, why can you just we'd go ahead and call them lots and then give them a variance to be so less than 20,000 square feet, just give them a variance like, somebody putting a house on 9,000, if you got somebody, oh yeah, you got a variance for your house. We gave Bill one, he changed footprint, but we gave him a variance so he could, get something done.
Right.
So I mean, if it was divided, don't know why we couldn't give him a variance. Well, we did the same thing over here for Mark. And that house was built over the property line. So we had to give him a variance to move the property line over, so Cameron's house isn't on,
Myrtles.
yeah.
Yeah, Myrtles.
I think Teresa's point of precedence is important here, because I will say there was another situation where this outlot came up within the last year or two. And it was one of these things where it was like, well, it's a difference between 20 homes or 40 homes, or I'm just throwing those numbers out there, but a lot of homes versus like a reasonable number of homes at the time. So we say, okay, Sean, we're gonna let you go to 18,000 square feet, and then somebody comes and says, well, why can't I go to 15,000 square feet? And then why can't I go to 12,000 square feet unless we change the ordinance to a number, and then someone's like, hey, we change it to 15,000 square feet, and then the next person says, well, I'm at 14.9.
I don't disagree.
And that creates a sticky situation there, I'm not pro or against outlots, and I don't necessarily know why they're created, but precedence is an issue there.
And the ordinance change is a little annoying, because I looked at it after the last meeting, and it's not just one, there's we'd have to change like 6.
For the outlaw?
Yeah, because all the spots where it's mentioned.
But what I'm curious about is why this can't be platted and become platted lots. And then no longer be considered outlots. That's my question.
Yeah, it's an interest.
Actually, that happened with,
That was an outlot.
what was
An
that?
outlot is a non-platted lot.
Someone's
That's
talking.
all, exactly.
It's by the definition.
Order,
Sorry.
please. Teresa was talking.
Richard, or Mr. Sweets, was his platted
I
or
don't
going to be
believe that.
platted?
No, I don't believe it was. His is
There was one I thought that was.
Homers, I thought we ran into with this.
Right,
I can't remember.
Well,
all right.
you guys
If you get them
understand.
platted, that'd be the easiest way.
Yeah.
But-
The only thing I would need though, I mean, that's fine, and if that can be the solution, that's fine. I just need to know that if I spend the money to have the survey company and the engineering company do that, that then if if I bring the survey to you like I'm gonna do on this other one tonight, then that's, I don't wanna spend that money and then all of a sudden go to the meeting and they're like, well, we're not gonna approve this.
But then
It's a lot of money.
you're no longer a minor subdivision. correct?
What?
No,
what's
it,
platted?
Yeah.
it would be platted during the subdivision process.
It's the same. The same
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, same process.
All right, I have to find out.
Yeah.
I take that on.
Yeah. I'll help
Okay,
you.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
The
Okay.
next thing,
Any other questions or comments on this particular one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you thinking about finding out if it might be easier just to plat the thing?
yeah, but
Oh.
yeah, we're gonna find out how to plat it.
Yeah, I don't know what
Just
that
Get it
I'll
done.
ask,
process
I'll ask
entails
Sherry.
and cost.
It's gonna be an easier path.
Okay,
Sure.
moving along.
E-
Okay, next one, this is, I don't know what the address is, 305, Cadastral
even
doesn't
know.
say.
I'm sorry.
So we're probably gonna have to create some addresses.
Five-ish?
Yeah, Fifth Street.
There's a problem. You asked if they'd have the papers. I downloaded it and forgot to share it with Luann. Could you print something off Drive for us?
Is it on?
I just sent it to you.
to
you. I'm sorry, everybody,
No, so
it's
I
late
can
and I
explain this
forgot.
one real quick. So, across from Troy's, just east of the Shields Valley School, that lot of Darlene calls, it was just,
Shields Valley Church.
Shields Valley Church,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
west of it?
So what,
That's west of it?
East.
it would be east,
Yeah.
east
There's
of
a
the
lot.
church, east of the church.
Just west of Fourth Street.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we bought that. They're platted lots. There was 13, 1 through 13. So what we did in the last month is we split those into 4 lots. So we have 3 lots that are 3 lots each for 10,500 square feet to meet all your ordinance and zoning and everything. And then there's 1 lot that's 4 lots. And so that survey's here and it just has to be signed off on.
So-
But it's all to your guys' spec and regulation.
Well, that ain't.
We're gonna get the pictures printed out so you can
Never
see
get
them.
that.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And then we'll need the giant, if we approve, it will need the giant paper brought in so the mayor and the attorney can sign it. Not yet. He sent me the 11 by 14. Or the, yeah,
Okay, so, anyway.
yeah.
I'll just let me know what I got.
Do you wanna look at it on my phone with?
I've got it.
Just out of curiosity, those are gonna be for separate homes. Are you selling lots? Or are you going to build on
So,
those?
right now, today, Holton and Riley are buying the 4 lots next to the church or closest to the church. My daughter Whitney may be buying the next one or putting a home there, so they'll be putting homes up there next year. And then the 2 east ones we're probably gonna list for sale and try to, yes, sell those.
Access, would it be off of Fifth or off of the alley?
They would be off is Fifth. The one is Fifth Bracket
It
Creek.
becomes Bracket Creek, yeah.
So it would be off Bracket Creek
Okay.
or Colton could do on 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so obviously to tie in with what, oh, and just so you guys know. We spent a little extra money and had that whole block surveyed and pinned. So just so you know, the little house that's there, we had the street pinned and paid for that to be done, and yes. The street, your property line goes through the middle of his garage.
He expressed concern about
Yeah,
that.
he gets that same, the 25 feet he loses there, he gets on the other side, so he's got a little bit more of that field than he thought he had. But it does go,
No.
his garage is right through the edge of the city's the road. So anyway, so we paid and have
Thank
those
you for
pinned
doing
just
that.
Thank you,
so
we're
you guys
wondering.
know what that half block.
Yeah, having a pin is awesome.
Yeah.
So Sean, do you wanna contact him and have him mail the big sheet over?
Yes, yeah, I will
And-
issue those immediately.
Yeah, is this something we need to
We have to sign something.
vote on?
No,
Okay.
it's just a presentation,
this-
because it's really
is
just a
this it?
simple,
That's it?
it's a
Thank you.
boundary readjustment.
Yes, but you still have to sign on it, the attorneys.
Yes.
Just so you look at it. You need the paper.
Thank you so much, Luann. I thought I'd sent that to you and I discovered I hadn't. No, being sick.
They're lucky enough, they're like,
Thank you so much.
Let's move right along here.
Okay, moving along, we're almost, yeah, we're getting there. All right. Next on the list,
508 miles.
site permit, 508 miles. It's just, there originally was a building or like a portion of the building that was torn down and now, it's an awning just to create some weather coverage coming out the back door. This is the former Two Doors Down Coffee Bakery or.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's in the back. Original. So here's the permit. Look it over, sign it if you. Well, we pass it around, but.
Okay. So they took down that was over the back door and they're putting something.
There was a
else up.
small one there,
Yeah.
yeah, and now they've turned it the other way to be a little bit longer, but there used to be an actual portion of the building. That's why that particle board was exposed. Was that? Yes, Bo reviewed it. We'll just make one motion for all of these site permits. Okay, well, that goes around, then on 8 Brackett Creek Road, Shane, excuse me, Bocall is putting up a fence on the perimeter of his property per the work starting on the subdivision. That I guess is something that's needed, for
This is for.
the horses. Yes,
He's gonna
around
fence
the
his boundary.
perimeter, yeah, of his property that's now kind of in the middle of that subdivision.
Well, he's the one who sold.
Yeah.
Subdivision.
Yes.
So close.
You'll find stuff. Yeah.
Don't know what kind of neighbors you got.
Fences, not trenches, what this says.
No. Okay, next, it's passing around, all right, so this is 504 East Avenue. It is for a new fence on the perimeter of the property. Don't know yet if we'll do wood posts and pickets or metal posts and wire. We'll pass that. It's the drawing. Oh. He's an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that. This is right.
Let's see it in your eyes too.
I only had it cut for like 2 months.
So bad.
Is this is 20 feet from the center of the road, correct? And 18 feet from the center. Only reason I ask, you don't have any concern this being, if this is solid wood? Does that cause an issue? Is 20 feet enough?
Oh, I didn't think.
Well, because it's a corner lot.
Yes,
It's a good
exactly.
So if it,
Code is actually 5 feet from the edge of the street, right? On a
on
corner lot.
a corner?
Well, technically fences are on property lines.
Right, but
The reason
It
I,
is obstruction.
obstruction.
Yes,
is what I'm-
exactly. It's not
Was-
likely to be a wooden fence.
Or,
But
or
yeah,
or it
yeah.
was the height of the fence. So
How
we'll
tall
check
is it?
that.
Yeah,
Does it say?
Doesn't say.
How tall?
as tall as possible. Keep the deer out.
But it won't be solid all the way up.
Well, and Short Street isn't really that,
It'll be solid to, mid-chest at the most.
Oh, so you could see.
So, yeah, so.
Yeah, just sign it.
just keep the deer out.
It's set back
It's
pretty
good.
far from the
Just
corner
as
too.
long as they don't come to my yard or.
No, they're gonna stay in mine.
I love the deer.
All
in
right,
my yard.
and so these are all site permits, so, can we make a motion to approve, make it all
I'll
formal?
make a motion that we approve the site permits.
Here we have a second.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Sari, seconded by Counselor Sarrazin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion passes. Now, the last thing on the agenda is resubmitting the variance request for Lens Market, and I'm going to turn this over to the president, as I have a vested interest in the outcome of this.
So we are
Please stand, say your name.
David Chapada, 504 East Avenue, and also proprietor of Glenn's Shopping Center. So our ice merchandiser is about 3 inches farther out than it's 4 inches farther out than it's allowed to be. We were considering moving it into the courtyard, but as it turns out, that would put it over onto Tammy's property. So it's either that or we just don't sell ice. I mean, I'm looking for a variance. It's not like, the town doesn't plow the sidewalk. Actually, I do. So is the 4 inches isn't keeping anybody from getting by in a wheelchair. It's not obstructing anything.
So we did bring this up last time.
Yeah, and the
right?
lawyer said not to do a variance.
Yeah,
The lawyer said not to do a variance?
yeah, we were gonna do a different thing last time.
I don't know anything about that.
What was the?
Yeah, we talked about it.
I can tell you.
It's in the minutes from December 9th of 2024.
Ah, I was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, you were gone, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah, can you
the,
speak to that?
thank you. Yes, so John has mentioned that he's hesitant about variances because it's the whole precedent thing. It sets a precedent. And brought up that if it's on the town right away, it should involve a permit. And the permit you guys saw is like a 10-12 page document of legalese. And at that time, the council decided to set it aside because we were going to see if we could move it into that space next to the courtyard. Well, things have changed. And in thinking about it, I personally would like to say that a variance is granted on a case-by-case basis. And if you look at it, what are the chances that there's going to be another case of someone wanting to put an ice merchandiser on the sidewalk? Depending on how you look at that. So I did talk to the ice house, the ice company that provides for us, and they own that. And there is not, the only other option are indoor options. And they personally say that it would be a great harm to our customers who rely on that and the volume of ice that we sell, and that it would severely affect our revenues based on that. And yeah, anyway,
Can I speak to this?
please.
I know there's been some issues with this. We've gone over it a couple times. I would sign this variance because I feel like the owners have taken the steps necessary to find any alternative. And there isn't, it doesn't seem like there's an alternative, and that is a service to the town of Clyde Park.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
getting rid of the ice machine now that there's literally no other alternative seems like it would be a negative impact on the town. More of a negative impact than having it 4 inches wider on the sidewalk that we don't maintain anyway. That's my take on it.
Anybody else in the council have some input before I go to the public?
It's in public.
Take it to the public. Probably.
Carla, so according to the minutes from December 9th of 2024, the attorney has suggested a license agreement to be written up and approved by the council. Will send a draft to this license, agreement for the council to review. Council has tabled this until they can review the draft. That's what the comment was from December. And he actually encouraged you not to do variances because it is an issue of encroachment. You generally use a license agreement or an encroachment license to grant a right of way, not a variance. That's per his comment.
Okay, so can anyone speak to our communications that we've made over to John or gotten back from him? Like, did he give us a written up encroachment license agreement? Do we have language for that we got from him?
Yeah, there was a draft.
Well, big.
I'm quite certain you guys got it, because you saw it and you're like, holy cow.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Feel
I
like
think
we
I
could
just found it.
Well, I think the licensing, if that's.
I don't have a problem going that direction.
I don't have a problem with the license, but you know.
We have a draft and I'm sending it to the printer in the office.
Cool.
And we did have another.
Can you share it on the screen, Stacy?
Oh, well, I'll do that also or instead of.
Well, it's just
Yep.
because you set a precedent when you do that.
Yeah, and there are some other reasons too.
That's right. I think we should have a comment.
So. While we're getting a hold of that draft, does anybody else in the public have any other comments? Sean? Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Ladies first.
Yeah, ladies first.
Oh.
Yeah, had to remind me.
Okay, Rebecca Tim. Hartman. Hopefully it can be changed to elevator or something, but it's Hartman.
It's supposed to.
No, it's supposed to be Taylor.
It is getting changed.
It is? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's wonderful. So who's paying for John Hess to review the?
The town.
We already paid.
Yeah, I'm sure. He,
Very sure.
yeah, he tends to charge quite a bit.
He
I
gives us a pretty good price, thankfully, you know.
Still pay for it.
But who is it? Are you asking the questions or is somebody else from the town asking?
The town, the mayor.
So,
Yeah, we direct the mayor to talk. to
It was a little bit of a weird situation back then, so we, you know, kind of asked the mayor and we were like, well, let's make sure we have legal counsel.
sure.
So we can get the best advice, and that's why we thought it was worth the money to pay, just because we wanna make sure everything's above board. Because it does involve a city official and a business, so that's why we spent the money on John.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of legit. I think that, probably 4 inches to cost
I get it,
thousands of
Totally get
dollars. The town is a little bit absurd.
No, it didn't cost thousands of dollars.
200, but still, it's the
But
point.
still, it's the point
It's
that
the
has to be
point.
made, and still it's in violation of the codes that are written in the code book. And we can't just turn our back, especially when it's a town official, you know, it'd be like,
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
I was, yeah, I get it.
We even have to be more of a stickler.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that we need to be vindictive.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense, thank you.
Okay, let's not be vindictive. Let's treat each other with respect and dignity and, come together as a town and try not to be divisive.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sean?
I was just, Sean, I was just gonna say the same thing. I mean, you guys have done your homework and will, but I I think these are the kind of things, when I was on the council, it was like, should we ask the attorney, should we do it?
Yeah.
You can go there all day long, but at the same token, we're talking 4 inches here.
Literally.
I just. To me, it's just a common sense move. I don't know.
And it's a matter of precedence, you know, so. How many more businesses are there down the street?
It was less of a.
Wait, let him finish his comment, please.
I mean, you know, so. You've got 2 other, well. Potentially 3 other businesses. That could come along and ask you for the same variance. And even if you had to face it 3 more times, what's the net effect? I mean, I don't, there are certain things like, you know, maybe the lot size variance would be trickier. But, you know, and, oh, by the way, I was gonna comment on, Sean's thing too. That's, you know, that could be done in 2 parts. You could do the variance. Having put on the agenda the fact that you're gonna review the lot size. So you would, you know, you could spend more time, for example, examining the lot size, and yet you could move this project along, you know. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, if 3 more businesses open up, one guy wants to have his 5 feet out into the sidewalk, and they'll say, well, you let him be 4 foot 4 inches, why can't I do this? And, you know, so, yeah. And it's not only just the ice machine, actually, that pallet firewood is you're too close to your door, and you're also. It's in the code that you have to be 3 feet back on either side of your doors.
Okay.
So, yeah. Take a look.
Carrie is raising her hand.
I'm just wondering if the ice thing was put there before the ordinance, or like, can it be the same kind of thing as a fence that's put up before, you know, like some of the places in town don't have to move things because of the timing. Could it be the same kind of situation with the ice?
No, that ice machine's been there as long as I remember.
Yeah, so it seems like for the same reason that somebody doesn't have to move their garage that's over the line, the ice machine also, I don't know if that's a thing. I think it shouldn't be moved. I agree with you guys. I think that, anyway, just a thought.
I hate to see the, you know.
Well, how about this? We paid for John to write this up. Why don't we sign this right of way encroachment license? Takes care of all of our concerns. We used John's document that we paid for, and we went with our attorney's advice, and we move on. We put this thing to bed.
We also have to return it to him.
And then if anybody else ever wants to do it, they can sign a license and got our butts covered all the way down the line.
And then the ice machine's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll retype it for the next meeting.
Excellent, so.
Should probably have a motion on that.
Yeah.
To-
I'd like to entertain a motion. Let me see the title of this, Brian, I'm sorry. To. Move forward with the right-of-way encroachment license agreement. Get that document turned back and finalized. And I think that's it.
I'll second it.
Does this have to be typed and signed by John before we can sign it, or can we literally fill this thing out right now?
You return it to him, and this one's a draft, so she has to.
Yeah.
Type
So
that.
and then we're done.
Yeah, so
Can I make another comment?
Rebecca Tim. It just seems like a huge waste of time. The entire, like, for however long, since 2024. What, I mean, there's gotta be something else that this is actually about.
Understood.
So I hope in the future that the council can resolve things like this quicker, that seem to be common sense issues. It's true that there's something else going on.
Thank you.
You are.
Why you have to have such a long document?
All right, so it's been moved and seconded, but we'll move forward with the right-of-way encroachment license agreement. And all in favor?
All right.
All opposed? None. Motion carried. Turn the meeting back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else?
But I move we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second
That was a long
Moved and
time.
seconded. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you
Good
so
night, all.
One more time.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks, Stacy.